knows the intricacies, he knows the demands of this job as an OIC. Therefore, he has no reason not to attend our hearings, Mr. Chair. Just as a manifestation.
Sige po, salamat po. Anyway, let's go to the issue at hand, yung po mga issues na pumapalob sa PhilHealth. Unang-una sa lahat, bago po tayo magsimula, nais kong kilalanin ang ating mga kasama na narito ngayon. Ang presidente po ng National Unification Party, the Honorable Barsaga, is here. The chairman of the Anti-Illegal Drugs, the Honorable Barbers, is here. The representative of the Magsasaka Party List, the Honorable Kabatbat. Our Deputy Speaker, Dante Marcoleta. Our Deputy Speaker, Dan Fernandez. Our Senior Deputy Majority Leader, the Honorable Rimulya. Comsec, can you recognize the members now present in Zoom?
Morning, Mr. Chairman, and to our honorable members. Joining us via Zoom are the following members: Deputy Speaker Evelina Escudero, Representatives Eufemia Culyamat, Enrico Pineda, Maria Victoria Umali, Stella Kimbo, Maricel Nagaño, Arlene Brosas, and the Deputy Majority Leader Bernadette Herrera D. Your Honors.
Salamat po. At kumari po kilalanin ang lahat ng ating resource persons na narito ngayon sa plenary at ang mga kasama rin po nating resource persons sa Zoom. Comsec?
Your Honors, joining us via Zoom are the following resource persons. We have from the PhilHealth, Dr. Israel Pargas, Jonathan, Corporate Secretary Jonathan Mangawang, Mr. Alex Gabuya, Renato Limsiaco, Senior Vice President Jovita Aragona, Assistant Senior Vice President Nerissa Santiago, Senior Vice President Dennis Mas, and Robert Labe Jr., Dennis Mas, Attorney J. Villegas, and we also have from the Civil Service Commission, Assistant Commissioner Ariel Ronquillo. Joining us via Zoom, we have the following resource persons. We have the Commissioner Eileen Lasada from the Civil Service Commission. We have representatives from the Commission Audit, Anti-Money Laundering Council, the Department of Budget and Management. We have also regional vice presidents for PhilHealth, representatives from the different hospitals we have invited. We also have the former SVP for Legal, Attorney Del Rosario. Your Honors.
Maraming salamat, Comsec. Sa ating pong paniwala, we have now here Chairman Bala of the Civil Service Commission. Yes, Chairman Bala, would you like to react doon po sa huling pag-uusap nung nandito po tayo, nung aming tanungin yung mga kaso sa Civil Service Commission, batay sa binanggit ni Commissioner, ma'am, please take your seat here, Commissioner Isada, na yun nga pong pagpipigil o paghinto ng pagbibigay ng impormasyon dito sa ginagawang investigasyon. Chairman Bala, please.
Hello.
Okay, sorry.
Ma'am, okay na pa. Go ahead.
I am here today to address the allegation that the CSC is suppressing information regarding pending PhilHealth cases with the Commission. I'm also here to comply with the directive of this committee to produce the transcript and video recording of the meeting of the Commission on August 11, 2020, referred to by Commissioner Lisada in the committee's hearing on August 25, 2020. I'm categorically stating that as the CSC chairperson, I made no directive, guidance, or insinuations for the commission to suppress information in any case. The recollection of Commissioner Lisada of the commission's meeting on August 11, 2020 was mistaken. I would like to point out the subject matter of the commission's meeting on August 11, 2020 was regarding cases pending before the CSCs involving PhilHealth personnel in relation to the task force PhilHealth created by President Rodrigo Duterte. The meeting was held because the CSC was called upon to assisting the investigation in the alleged PhilHealth fund scam. I wish to clarify that none of the cases before the CSC involves issues of corruption. The pending cases before the Commission are mostly administrative cases involving personnel action, which are non-disciplinary in nature. We don't handle criminal cases involving graft and corruption. I would also like to inform this august body that the CSC has been actively cooperating with the PhilHealth task force, and we have been providing relevant information and technical assistance needed by the task force. I have forwarded to this committee a complete list of cases involving PhilHealth personnel, which list may have been provided to you by Commissioner Lisada. For the record, I was the one who gave the instruction to give the list to Commissioner Lisada and to all the participants of the Commission's meeting. I would hardly call dissemination of the list as a suppression of information. I hope that my presence here would ultimately dispel any doubts cast against the integrity of the Civil Service Commission as an institution. And I also hope that once the task settles, those who made erroneous public statement would be confident enough to admit they have been mistaken. Thank you, Your Honor.
Maraming salamat, Chairman Bala. Isang mabilis lang po na presentation, and I understand no na yung pong video and the minutes were already submitted. If I may just ask our technical group, kasi baka dito po kayo nagkaroon ng misinterpretation o ito pong nagkakaproblema tayo sa kung ano tong nangyari talaga nung nagkaroon po kayo ng meeting. Please.
Mr. Chair, what is the purpose of the video?
I think everybody should have the camera on lang
For the-
for the prayer, and then after that, it should be given to everyone who are participating in this meeting. And I hope that this information should be within the commission and should never be shared with the public or to whoever will be asking us this in aid of legislation or investigation, yung mga ganon. So I think
Medyo mahina po yung
Mr. Chair,
sound.
I think
Yeah,
we need to have some formalities here. First of all, who took the video?
That is the official video of the CSC. Zoom meeting.
But somebody should be able to tell us that that is the official Zoom, because anybody can change
No, that is the official
anything in the
Zoom.
video.
Honorable Marcoleta. Yes, ma'am.
What
Mr.
did we-
Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, we have with us the video and the transcription, and this is recorded because we're using the MS Teams, Your Honor. So, in fact, our director of the Committee on Commission, Secretariat, and Legislative Office is liaison office is here with us to
Yes,
officially.
Chairman Bala, Honorable Marcoleta, that was exactly the Zoom that you sent us, that you
Okay,
forwarded to
okay.
this committee.
Mr.
So,
Chair,
yes.
I am not here to make a judgment as to whether Commissioner Lisada or the chairperson is the one talking the truth, telling us the truth. But that particular Zoom does not make any sense.
Because we cannot hear the...
We
that
cannot
was-
even hear it. And
Yeah.
nobody will testify that that is a complete and religious transcription of what really happened.
No, the Honorable
Mr.
Marcoleta,
Chair.
that is the
Mr.
production
Chair.
of the committee based on the submission.
Mr. Chairman, ito bang pinadala nilang Zoom that we have seen is the same video that you were saying a while ago?
Yes.
Pareho po ba yan?
Yes.
Can we also get the transcript? Para at least maliwanag po yung
No,
ating
no, no.
napapanood.
Okay. Let me just clarify to the committee. That is the official video. Now, the portion of the PhilHealth hearing, that is the part. So
Okay.
it was not, because if we will look at the entire video, that would be how long, Honorable Chairman Bala, for 3 hours that you had that meeting?
Mr. Chairman, what I'm trying to say, para magkaroon po tayo ng clarity sa pinapanood po natin video, let's get the transcript and the portion of that what have been shown.
Okay.
Para
Ganito lang po.
makita po natin yung at maintindihan po natin.
Wala po tayong judgment doon sa nangyari. Ang sinasabi ko lang as a fact, ito yung sinabi based on the video, unless you contest the video which you submitted. Do you contest that video?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Honorable
before we
Remulla.
continue, have all the witnesses been put under oath?
I'm sorry, you're correct. I stand corrected. May we request the, ma'am, pasensya na po, but you would have to take the oath, and all the guests here in plenary at yung bago po nating guest in Zoom, if we may request you to take your oath before we continue with our proceedings. Comsec, can you conduct the, administer the oath? So ordered.
Can I ask all the spokespersons here in plenary, spokesperson, and those who I assume, to please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this joint congressional inquiry? So help you God. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po. So sa pagpapatuloy, inuulit ko po yung Zoom video. Factual po yun, submission nyo po yun. Of course, hindi na po natin ibibigay yung buo kasi 3 oras po ata kayo o 4 hours po yan. Yun ho yung portion sa PhilHealth. Di ba? Ang nakalagay po doon that, if I'm not mistaken, ma'am, and you can correct me, na let's make sure that the information, wag nating ikalat, no? Or ganyan na public. At nakalagay doon sa phrase na sinabi nyo, pati yung in aid of legislation.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
as what I've said a while ago, para medyo kasi hindi nga po natin masyadong madinig kung ano yung mga sinabi. Baka naman pwede makita natin yung transcript, yung portion na sinabing yon, i-highlight po nila para makita po natin kung ano yung sinabi po nila, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. As requested by Honorable Fernandez, can you do that for us as we are conducting? Pero yun nga po, again, it's a factual thing, no? Yun lang lumabas na video. It's up to you to reply to that. Pero yun po yung talaga narinig na yung information itago na, hindi maitago ba? Ano bang word na ginamit nyo, ma'am? In aid of legislation, kasama ho yun. Any investigation, including in aid of legislation. As requested by Honorable Fernandez, kindly give us the portion of that in transcript form.
Mr. Chair, can we set aside first the video? I'd like to take advantage of the presence of the chairperson of the CSC because there were a lot of pending questions earlier in our hearing that were left unanswered. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Marcoleta, just for the record, so yun po yung actual video. So ano man po yung naging interpretation dyan, sa inyo na po yan namin iniiwan. But sinasabi mo, Chairman Bala, this morning, wala po kayong ganyang intensyon. In Zoom, may ganitong nakitang video, and but your presence here and the submission of documents, nagpapasalamat po kami. So with that, the Honorable Marcoleta, if you will allow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Marcoleta, if you will allow.
Chairperson Bala, earlier in our hearing, there came up certain awards that CSC given to certain personnel of PhilHealth, more specifically, the one that created the database as well as the one who managed the information technology. It was already admitted by a particular officer of PhilHealth that those awards came from PhilHealth. I want you to confirm whether or not you really gave those awards specifically to the one who developed the IT or the database and the one managing the information technology. This is on record already. We want your confirmation.
Yes, Your Honor. And annually, we have
Tama na po
approved.
yun. Yes na lang po
Yes,
yun.
okay.
What is the basis for giving those awards?
There are criteria, Your Honors.
What are the criteria?
Ah, sorry. I don't remember because there are 3 categories of awards being given.
You don't remember the criteria?
One is Dangal ng Bayan Award.
Yes.
Okay. The second is Pag-asa Award. The third is the Presidential Lingkod Bayan Award.
Okay.
Okay. So those are the 3. Yes, Your Honor.
So you don't remember the criteria for giving the awards, right?
If I do remember, when it talks about the Dangal ng Bayan Award, it should be in line with the RA 6713.
Pag tinanong natin, you do not remember, kasi sinabi mo, you don't remember now the criteria,
Oo.
para madali po tayo.
Okay. Yung details ho.
Yeah.
Yung details, wala po akong ditong dala.
Okay, but earlier, President Morales of PhilHealth, in the earlier hearing, also admitted that the root of corruption in PhilHealth can be traced to a fragmented database, as well as the need to upgrade information technology, gadgets, and all this. That is on record. Now, it does not jibe with the pronouncement of the president of PhilHealth with the act of CSC demonstrating the awards, giving an award to a department and to somebody who developed the database and IT, whatever those criteria are, already moot and academic, because the president of PhilHealth already admitted that the root of corruption can be traced to the lack of equipment to upgrade the information technology as well as the database. Yun po yung nangyari. There was also an admission, Madam, that PhilHealth at some point in time also requested that a particular qualification should be waived by PhilHealth, particularly on certain managerial positions. Kasi po, sa rule ninyo, pag salary grade 24, master's degree yata ang pinapanagutan ninyo. Do you confirm the admission of one of the officers of PhilHealth that when they requested for the waiver of that qualification, you granted the request? Do you confirm that? Inadmit na po nila eh.
May I request Assistant Commissioner
Why,
Rogelio?
Madam? You are not competent to answer my question and you would like to revert to your Assistant Commissioner?
Okay. No, it's not. Okay, let me clarify, Your Honor. Based on our records.
Madam, may I repeat?
Yes.
That particular fact was already admitted by one of the officers of PhilHealth, that they requested certain qualifications to be waived. Now, I want you only to confirm that. That is not hard to do.
As far as our records, Your Honor, there is no request for exemption.
Oh, okay. Vice President Mas, ikaw ang nagsabi noon. I can still recall.
Hi, sir. VP
Where are
Mas is
you?
recognized. There's a resolution.
You made a request, di ba? Sinabi mo sa amin. Now, the
There's the
chairperson of CSC is denying it. Sino nagsasabi sa inyo ng totoo?
VP Mas, kindly talk, kindly turn on your mic for the record.
It's resolution number 20000282, and this is signed by Chairman CSC.
Can you please show that to the chairperson of CSC to remind her that there was really a request and the request was granted?
May request so at ginrant. Not only just a request, but granted request. Granted.
Kaya nga.
Oh, pinayag.
Pinapo-confirm ko lang sa kanya.
But there's no exemption, ha? Okay. Oo. Your Honor,
Yes, Chairman Bala.
The request was the amendment of the qualification standards for the Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer position in the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation.
Oh,
So we are saying here that it was more of an amendment, and here in qualification standards, we have already set.
yes, Madam.
Yes.
Those amendments which you admitted or approved gave rise to the lowering of qualification. Kasi nga dapat master's degree sila eh. For example, Dr. Pargas, sa kanyang posisyon ngayon as Senior Vice President, dapat meron siyang master's degree. Sang-ayon na rin sa qualification ninyo. Kaya lang inapprove ninyo yung request to amend that. Kasi Dr. Pargas, kahit na hindi master's degree, pwede siyang mag-hold ng posisyon. Yun po yung punto. So ang lumilitaw po kasi, Mr. Chair, yung pong qualification na hinihingi ng batas, siguro tama naman yun. Kasi pinag-uusapan natin, sinupin natin ang pondo ng PhilHealth. So kinakailangan pati yung tagabantay, pati yung nandun, ibigay natin yung qualification na hinihingi ng batas. Pero kayo po, imbes na po panindigan ninyo yung striktong pananagutan na yon, nag-request ang PhilHealth, bakit na lang ninyo binaba kagad ang qualification? So kaya po siguro, isa ito sa mga paraan kung bakit nagkakaganito ang PhilHealth. Madam Chairperson,
Okay. Thank you.
ako po, sasabihin ko na sa inyo ito. Naalala po ninyo nung nakarang budget hearing na kung saan sinabi ko sa inyo na merong isang principal sa Tarlac na ako mismo ang nagpakunukala para sa isuspindihin ng DepEd. Ako po mismo, sapagkat nakita ko, panahon ng eleksyon, nagkunwari siya na tulungan niya isang bata na walang tuition fee, pero humingi siya ng pera sa isang kandidatong mayor ng Tarlac. Yun po ay pinatawan ng grave misconduct ng DepEd. At siya po ay nagkaroon po ng kaso. Sa makatwid, tatanggalin na po siya. Ang ginawa po niya, nag-appeal siya sa CSC. Sa inyo po. Kasi po, ang may problema naman dito, kayo, yun pong grave misconduct na nilatag ng DepEd, ginawa na lamang ninyo na simple misconduct. So ang nangyari po, sinuspindi nyo lamang ng 3 months, ayun, nakabalik na naman yung teacher. Bakit po ganun kayong magdesisyon? Nakiusap ako sa iyo, Madam Chairperson. Sabi ko, ako ang personal na nag-asunto doon sapagkat hindi ko kayang sikmurain yung ganung gawain. Principal pa naman, hihingi ng pera sa kandidato, kunwari lang, para ipantustos kunwari doon sa bata na walang tuition fee. Pero kayo nakita ninyo, simple misconduct. Nakita ng DepEd, grave misconduct. So nakabalik po yung teacher. Hindi po ngayon nag-file ng motion for reconsideration yung abogado ng DepEd na sinungaling. Alam po ninyo nung kausap ko siya, hinihintay ko lamang po kanya na tanggapin ko yung decision ng CSC para mag-file po ako ng motion for reconsideration. Alam po ninyo nung tinetext niya ako, 1 buwan na pala na nasa kanya yung motion, yung decision ninyo, pero hindi siya nag-file ng motion for reconsideration. Magkakasabwat eh. Kinausap ko po kayo. Sabi ko, kung ayaw niyang mag-file ng motion for reconsideration, ako ang magpa-file. Sapagkat constituents ko naman yung mga tao sa Tarlac na nagbigay sa akin ito para lamang panagutan ng teacher na yan. Anong sabi niyo sa akin? Anong sabi po ninyo sa decision ninyo? You denied my motion for reconsideration because sinabi ninyo, I have no personality to file the motion for reconsideration. Why? I am an elected official representing those people in Tarlac. I have no personality. Ito po yung problema ninyo eh. Unang-una, basahin po ninyo yung desisyon. Walang takwent-takwentang desisyon. Sasabihin ko na po sa inyo, kung sino man ang mga abogadong kinasangkapan ninyo, pinalitan ninyo grave misconduct into simple misconduct. Bakit? Ano pong tingin niyo sa ginawa ng teacher na yon? Yung paghingi ng pera sa panahon ng eleksyon, simple misconduct, Madam Chairperson. At nung ako'y mag-motion for reconsideration, sabi mo, I have no personality to file sapagkat tinrato mo lamang ako na witness. Between the words of Commissioner Lisada and your word, I think I can make a judgment already. Madam Chairperson, I am sorry, pero ito yung ayaw namin eh. Takipan na kayo ng takipan eh. On April 15, 2019, 8 personnel of PhilHealth who were charged for administrative offenses wrote you a letter. Would you confirm that?
Chairman Bala.
Your Honor, may I request
I am asking you to confirm whether or not it is true. Sometime in April of last year, 8 officials of PhilHealth, most of them are regional vice presidents, charged administratively. They wrote you an official letter asking you if you can meet with them, if you can give them an audience, a simple audience. Do you confirm that letter?
I don't. Okay. Your Honor,
Do you confirm that letter, Madam? Hindi mo alam?
more
I can show
often-
you that letter. It was received by your office.
Yeah. Usually, when it's received by my office, we usually refer it immediately to the Office of Legal Affairs, Your Honor.
So why don't you do it? If it
Chairman
is
Bala,
true that it's referred to your office, why can't you recognize it? You don't even know it.
Chairman Bala, ito hong hearing natin ngayong umaga ay upo lang sa PhilHealth. And ang thinking po namin, siyempre ho, nakaipon sa inyo lahat ng mga issues pertaining to PhilHealth. Like for example, yung request ng board, sinasabi nila meron, sabi nyo wala. Yung pala, nandyan yung letter, meron. Yung kaso ng Malo, we would think you're ready with that. Dahil ito lang naman ang pag-uusapan natin.
Yung sinabi ko, if you read ho dun sa yung una na case tungkol dun sa request for amendment, it's more of amendment. It's very clear in the decision of the commission. Okay. And this was signed, both of us, Commissioner Lisada and myself. So there's the qualification standards states education, master's degree or certificate in leadership and management or CPRO. Completion of degrees of Bachelor of Laws and Doctor of Medicine or Career Executive Service. And I think when we mentioned bachelor's degree in accountancy, that was additional. It's not an amendment, Your Honor. We still maintain the master's degree or certificate in leadership and management, completion of the degrees of Bachelor of Laws and Doctor of Medicine or Career Executive Service or Career Executive eligible shall be considered to have met the master's degree requirement. And there was this resolution that was mentioned here, that completion of the degrees of Bachelor, this is on page, so we mentioned, Your Honor, na it's not just the Bachelor of Laws, but should already include the bachelor's degree in accountancy.
Ano po bang tuntunin kapag ka salary grade 24? Sa tuntunin ng civil service, di ba master's degree?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
Your Honor. Kasi ang requirement ng...
Ano po yung salary grade ni Dr. Pargas? Dr. Pargas, ano salary grade mo?
Mr. Chair, salary grade 28 po.
Oh. Sa tuntunin ng CSC salary grade 24, dapat master's degree. Salary grade 24. Wala siyang master's degree, di ba? 28. Mas mataas pa nga yun eh.
Doctor of Medicine.
Huwag na natin pag-usapan ng detalye na yan, Madam Chairperson. Alam mo, kukunti lang ang panahon namin eh. Ito yung sinasabi namin. Yung dapat sana natuntunin ay dapat ninyong panagutan. Hindi ganun lamang. Masyado kayong maluwag eh, pagka PhilHealth. Kasi minsan PhilHealth, pupunta sa CSC yung official ninyo. Meron yata ngayon, Mr. Chair, no, officialis o attorney 4 yata o attorney 5 ng civil service galing sa PhilHealth. Pero itinatanong ko po sa inyo kanina, Madam Chairperson, may sumulat sa inyo eh. 8 inasunto, administrative charges na PhilHealth officials. Nakiusap po, sumulat sa inyo na kung po pwede sana ibigyan nyo sila ng audience. Binigyan nyo po ba sila ng audience? April po yon, 2019. Bakit po? Ba tayo yung kausapin? Ito nga po nakikita namin merong pagkakasalungatan eh.
Okay.
Merong grupo dito, merong grupo doon. So kapag ang grupo wala siyang tulay sa inyo, ganun po yung nangyayari.
If you can give us the names, Your Honor, because they're just, we have many cases that are in our folders right now. So who are these people? Because we have a list of the pending.
Madam, ang sinasabi ko pong sulat was received by your office on April 25, 2019. Sulat po ito ng 8
Yes.
sa mga naasunto. Humihiling sa inyo ng konting panahon. Ang tinatanong ko po, hindi pala ninyo alam to eh. Bakit? Baka naman hindi ka panalig po ninyo ito, kaya hindi man lang nyo.
Okay.
Kasi po kami, may sumulat ng gano'n, nakikiusap. Hindi po pwedeng hindi namin harapin eh.
Your Honor, may I again, what is the date that was received? Because I have a list here.
April 20,
April 25,
2019.
2019.
April 5.
Ang petsa po ng sulat, April 24, 2019. O tinago po siguro ng mga kasamahan ninyo dahil sa baka hindi nila kabalahibo itong mga ito. Ito po yung nahalata namin eh. Kaya nga po malinaw, parang talagang may sinusuppress talaga dyan eh. Pagkatapos makikinig po kami sa isang video na hindi naman namin alam kung sinong kumuha niyan. Maubos lang po yung panahon namin.
Okay. April.
Honorable Marcoleta.
Based, Your Honor,
Nahanap po ninyo?
all the documents that passes through me, I won't remember, especially now that you're talking about 2019. But if you can tell us, Your Honor, the names of those, because you were saying April.
Mr. Chair, ako pa po ngayon ang magiging messenger. Ako pa pala ang magbibigay sa kanila ng, sa mga tweet, tinanggap ng kanilang opisina, talagang hindi inaksyonan. Malinaw naman po dito eh. Resibado eh.
Yeah.
At any rate, Honorable Marcoleta, maybe we can request yung po mga nagsulat na yon and the nature of yung nature nung kanilang pagsulat sa PhilHealth at pwede nating forward through the committee.
Yeah.
Honorable
Mr. Chair,
Marcoleta,
tapusin ko na lang kasi
Yes.
PhilHealth lang naman ito. Mamaya na po sa ibang...
Oo.
Tungkol po doon sa hindi pag-file ng MR nung tamad na abogado ng DepEd na yon. Wala po kayong ginawa kasi. Kasi ang ayaw naman yung kilalanin yung motion for reconsideration ko eh. Dininay nyo yung aking MR, kaya yung principal na yon namamayagpag. Nakabalik po.
Oo.
Nakabalik. Iyon po ba'y mabuti sa public service? Ang aking pong motion for reconsideration, inayawan ninyo. Ibig sabihin, ginamit nyo technicality. Meron kayong ginamit na jurisprudence, ni kesyo ni ganito. Hindi po kami magkapareho nung kasong sinight ninyo eh. I am an elected representative of the people. Nagkataon po party list ako. Nationwide po kami. Nationwide po kami. Anong sinabi po ng abogado ninyo na gumawa niyan? Wala akong personality. Can you imagine that? Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Marcoleta.
Pwede mo bang pahiram sa akin yung martilyo mo para bumaba lang? Kasi pagka ganito, napakasimple po ng pinag-uusapan. Tingnan po ninyo dahil sa ginawa ninyo, nakabalik yung principal na yon. Namamayagpag.
Session suspended. Hearing resumed. May I request,
Mr. Chairman,
pwede
Mr.
bang pakiusapan yung ating mga kasama rito sa plenary? Bigyan niyo po ng tubig si Honorable Marcoleta. Honorable Marcoleta is recognized.
Ako muna.
Sala. Sige, medyo patatawa na lang ako, Mr. Chair. Kasi pagka kasi hawak ko yung martilyo mo, yan ang papakalma sa akin. Alam naman ni Congressman Barbers yan, kasi matagal ko ng barkada yan. I will wind up, Mr. Chair. Ang nakikita po ninyo is a pattern. Imbes na po ang civil service talagang gawin ang tungkulin, ituwid ang pagkakamali, sila ang maging kasangkapan para palutangin ang totoo. Lalong-lalo na sa PhilHealth, ang pagsisinop, pangangalaga, pagproteksyon ng fund, kailangan-kailangan. Kailangan bang ang isang constitutional body kagaya ng CSC, dapat sila yung malaki ang ano dyan ang contribution ang pagtulong Wag din yung pabababain po yung standard po ng mga taong pinagtiwalaan po na sila ang magkukumpuni o sila yung magsisinop ng pondo ng PhilHealth. Pataasin pa nga dapat natin Ang pattern kasi malinaw Mr. Chair. Napakilaki ng pattern. Nakikita ko yung sa buwatan, mga PhilHealth, mga DepEd. Parang yung ikagagaling, ayaw nila Yung ikagaganda ng takbo ng bureaucracy, parang ayaw nila Pati ba naman ako, tatanggihan naman ako na wala raw akong personalidad na file ng motion for reconsideration ay nilalaban ko na nga, maling-mali na nga yung principle na yun.
Thank you.
Yun lamang po, Mr.
Marcoleta.
Chair.
Maraming salamat, Honorable Marcoleta. Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez.
Tatanong ko lang po
recognized.
sana kung since nagkaroon po kayo ng parang hearing with all your commissioners and those from DOJ as well about dun sa mga pending cases ng PhilHealth ay lahat po ba ng mga pending na kaso na to nasaan na po ba to? Nasa inyo po ba to? Or naipadala nyo na po sa DOJ?
Yes, we did, Your Honor. And yesterday, we also already forwarded the list to the secretariat of this committee, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, did we ask for the copies of nung rin also, the mga pending cases?
Nandito na po. Sinumitin na ng Civil Service Commission yung pending cases nila at pati yung mga past cases na hiningi po natin.
Yun lamang po, Mr. Chairman. Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Chairman,
Chairman.
Honorable De Mulla.
I want to ask the Chairperson Bala about the PhilHealth qualifications of senior officers. Are all of them CSEE or CESO eligible? Or CESOs at least? Lahat po ng Senior Vice President ng PhilHealth. Madam Bala.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just to put it into context, the qualification standards that was set by the Civil Service Commission was for generic positions. For example, if you are salary grade 24, it's a generic. But and then at the same time, we also say that the agencies are allowed to set higher standards.
Yes.
In the case of the positions in the PhilHealth, they use the generic, Your Honor, because the approved plantilla position did not specify that there is such a thing as SVP for legal, SVP for actuary. There's none. So they just use it. So that on the basis of the submission of the appointments of these people, our regional offices attested them because they meet the minimum requirements.
So, Madam Chairperson, ilan ang approved plantilla positions sa Senior Vice President ng PhilHealth?
I'm sorry.
How many plantilla positions? Maybe Mr. Mas can answer that also.
Yeah.
Ilan ba ang approved plantilla positions ng Senior Vice President ng PhilHealth? Seven.
Ano po, Dino, on the record? 7. 7.
What are these 7 positions? Sa plantilla, describe the plantilla of the 7 Senior Vice President positions. Ano yung plantilla nila? Positions. Mr. Mas.
Habang tinitingnan yung, habang inano mo, ang binanggit mo kong Rimulya, Chairman Bala, So itong mga senior vice presidents, hindi itong mga existing positions, ginawa lang to, pero walang approval sa inyo. Based on the questions of the Honorable Rimulya.
Your Honor, I said the organizational structure and the plantilla positions were approved by GCG. And that the position classification, it did not spell out that there's such a thing as SVP for legal, SVP for the positions. And so therefore, they use the minimum qualification
Minimum
standards
qualification.
equivalent to the salary grade that they are entitled
And the
to.
SVPs are salary grade 28?
SVP is salary grade 28.
28. So as a salary grade 28, what are the minimum requirements of the Civil Service Commission for these persons to be able to hold on to their position or to be qualified for their position?
Master's degree, Your Honor. And then if it's a practice of profession, they should be a license. Like for example, if it's a lawyer position, they should be a lawyer passer, okay. And then 5 years of experience and 120 hours of training in management.
So in the case of Mr. De Rosario, what made you approve his qualification as Vice President for Legal of PhilHealth?
The basis, as I've said, Your Honor, it was based on a generic position title because there was no assignation that this is for the legal.
Sa madaling salita, ma'am, kung ikaw ay naging direktor sa isang ahensya ng gobyerno, pagpalagay po natin, for example, yung sa housing, dyan po ko nanggaling, na legal, may 120 hours ka, abogado ka, pwede ka na magiging senior vice president ng PhilHealth.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say, Your Honor, because it was not spelled out in the approved plantilla that this SVP is for legal. So they use the generic qualification standards, Your Honor. So therefore, when they submit the appointments for attestation by the Civil Service Commission, it would appear that they met the minimum qualification standards. And so I think this is one of the areas, Your Honor, that probably need to be looked into when approving plantilla of agencies under GCG. They should ensure that it should be very specific.
Madam Chair, no, I just want to ask Mr. Dennis Mas. Dennis Mas, hindi ba ikaw ang naglakad ng pag-approve ng CSC ng appointment ni SVP Del Rosario?
Yung appointment yan, sir, matapos ma-issuehan ng PhilHealth Board ng resolution confirming, kasi sa PhilHealth ang appointing authorities, the board, sinasubmit ho yan ng aming Human Resource Department sa CSC.
Ikaw yung sa Human Resource.
Hindi,
The
Your
Human
Honor.
Resource Department is under you?
Yung manager ho namin sa Human Resource Department, si Ms. Cheryl Welan.
So what do you do as management services? Hindi ba sa iyo ang Human Resources?
Below, sir. Pero nagsasubmit yan sa sa Civil Service Commission, sa NCR, kasi diyan naka-assign ng PhilHealth yung ating Human Resource Department. So sinubmit nila ito last year, and this January, binalidate nila ang appointment ng SVP for Legal as to be compliant doon sa...
No, the CSC did not affirm it as SVP for Legal but only SVP. Tama ba yan?
SVP position ho.
So yung paggawa nyo ng posisyon ng SVP Legal, yun lang ang ginawa nyong paraan para mag-appoint kayo ng Senior Vice President. Bali yun ang lumalabas.
Ito pa pala, sir, no? Kasi ka-assign ko lang dito nung
VP Mas, can you please speak louder?
2017.
Speak up.
Naka-assign ko lang kasi dito sa MSS noong December 2017. So ni-research nga namin dito ang background kung bakit ganito yung naging qualification standards ng mga SVP position sa PhilHealth, no? And I only learned this Monday na yung PhilHealth Board of Directors pala noong 2014, nag-pass sila ng Resolution 1894. It is a resolution approving the non-station specific nature of executive and managerial positions in the corporation that was issued, prescribing that all appointments that will be made to executive managerial positions in the corporation shall be non-station specific.
So, ang sinasabi mo, Mr. Mas, anybody can be appointed senior vice president without any designation or without any responsibility attributed to the position.
Yes, sir. Kasi meron silang board resolution na nalaman ko lang nung Monday na ganun pala talaga yung intention.
Pero gaano katagal na merong senior vice president legal ang PhilHealth? How long has this practice been going on that a senior vice president for the legal sector exists in PhilHealth? Gaano katagal na ito? May sagot ka, Mr. Pargas? How long? Ever since you were in PhilHealth, lagi ba kayong may SVP for legal?
Mr. Chair, sorry sir, paki-clarify lang po.
Ever since you were in PhilHealth 20 years ago, meron na ba kayong SVP for legal? For legal?
As far as I remember, sir, yes. SVP for legal.
Pero
SVP for...
Honorable Rimulya, doon kasi sa batas, ang nakalagay sa even the past laws noong 1995, nagkaroon ng amenda, gagawa ang mismong board ng kanilang structure. And the structure that they have now, I think since 2013, I'm sorry, hindi 2013, since 20...
There was 2007.
Oh, yung 2007 structure nila is the structure that they carry until now. So, ayun nga nagiging problema. Dapat naging stricto na tayo doon pa lang sa batas or at least yung oversight natin talaga, nakita kaagad to, na hindi na lang ganito yung nangyari na minimum requirements, kung ano nung position.
Mr. Chairman, ang punto ko lang ganito, no? Basta may opening kasi ng isang posisyon sa itaas, eto na, nag-uuna na sila kung sino ilalagay na pupuno. When I asked Attorney De Rosario about his appointment as SVP for legal, passing through the Civil Service Commission, you spoke up and said that there was already a lowering of qualification because you were the one who spoke to the CSC about it. Tama ba yan?
I can't remember that, sir. What I said earlier was that yung appointment niya validated na ng commission noong January of this year. So
Can you speak louder,
yung
please?
kanyang opinion, ibig sabihin yung kanyang qualification standards ay validated and then na-meet niya. Kaya ang tatak sa kanyang appointment, validated.
Mr. Mas, si Mr. De Rosario has been a close friend of yours since the 1990s, am I correct? Magkababayan kayo?
1998 pa yan, sir, na hire siya. Ako naman na 2000. So we come from the same province, pero wala siyang kinalaman kung bakit ako napasok.
And in the same high school, from the same high school?
Oh, yes, sir. The same school. Pero 1 year ahead siya sa akin.
1 year ahead. Ang nanay mo, teacher niya, di ba?
Hindi, sir. Yung nanay ko college teacher, hindi.
College teacher.
Yes.
But you went to the same school
Yes, sir. Sa
with Mr. De Rosario.
Antique National School.
Antique.
Pero ahead siya sa akin.
Kailan ka naging SVP, Mr. Mas?
Ako naging SVP October 24, 2017.
2017.
Yes.
Ilang taong ka nung naging SVP ka? How old were you?
45 ako ngayon, mga 42 siguro, sir. 42.
You were 42.
42.
So you hold a master's degree, Mr. Mas, or are you a CPA?
Meron ho ako, sir, bachelor's degree. Meron akong dalawang diploma sa Human Resource Management. Meron akong diploma in Urban and Regional Planning sa UP. Meron akong dalawang master's degree ulit sa UP, Master of Management in Public Management at saka Master of Arts in Urban and Regional Planning, of course, sa UP. And then nakaroon ako ng PhD sa UP din, Urban and Regional Planning. Pero kinuha ko ito nung na-employ na ako sa PhilHealth.
So, as Management Services Senior Vice President, di ba iyon ang designation mo? Management Services
Services. Yes,
Senior
sir.
Vice President, tama?
Yes, sir. The managing two departments, Human Resource at saka yung Physical Resources and Infrastructure Department. Meron akong diploma in Human Resource Management.
Sinabihan mo ba, Mr. Mas, si Mr. De Rosario na mag-apply for Senior Vice President?
O sir, nag-apply sila sa Senior Vice President pero hindi sila more than 5. Kaya nangyari doon, kasi ang role talaga ni Human Resource Personnel Selection Board is to shortlist 5. Maraming nag-apply pero hindi, parang 4 lang yata o 3 pagkatanda ko. So lahat sila ho ni-recommend and then sinubmit yun sa Board of Directors ng PhilHealth. So sila ho pumili from among the applicants na sinubmit.
Yung mga nag-apply ba, puro abogado, Mr. Mas?
Ano sir?
Yung mga nag-apply, puro lawyers? Are they lawyers?
Oo sir, mga nag-apply, mga lawyers, may isang USEC, may isang taga PhilHealth din, na mga lawyers silang lahat.
Was Mr. De Rosario the most senior of all the lawyers who applied?
2 years lang siya sir as yun nga yung hindi na ko sure kung ilang years pa lang siya naging lawyer. Pero yun naman ay dinivulge yun, no? Kasi may individual profile naman at aware naman yung board of directors na pumili sa kanila kung ano yung mga qualifications nila. Pero as to pag-deliberate at mga discussions nila, hindi na ho kami kasama doon. Board na yung pumili.
Okay.
Ang appointing
Mr. Chair,
authority sa
nung-
PhilHealth, board of directors who has the widest
Excuse me,
latitude
Mr.
of
Chair.
discretion.
Chair.
Nung maging,
Honorable Murlia,
nung
you have your
maging
last word? No, before we proceed, Honorable Barsaga.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Just a clarification, Chairperson. Ang pagkakaintindi ko kanina, sa PhilHealth, yung mga Senior Vice President generic. Meaning to say, they have the qualification for Senior Vice President. Tama ba?
Tama po.
Okay. Ang next question ko, Chairperson, ano ang minimum requirements for Senior Vice President?
Ang minimum requirements, Your Honor, master's degree, okay, 5 years experience, 120 hours of training.
At pangalawa, sa mga Senior Vice President, walang specific designation kung Senior Vice President for Legal, Senior Vice President for Finance, Senior Vice President for HRM. Wala yon, di ba?
Wala po, Your
Kaya
Honor.
ang nagdedetermina lamang yung management ng PhilHealth kung saan sila ilalagay as Senior Vice President.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, next question. Lahat nitong mga Senior Vice President, they are career officials
Yes, Your Honor.
based on civil service rules.
Yes.
Ang tanong ko po, kung sakasakali silang magre-resign, pwede ba effective immediately? Or do they have to comply with that basic requirement at least 30 days notice as provided for under the labor code?
Your Honor, I have our
Assistant Commissioner Ronquillos recognized.
ora-ora. Oo nga.
Yes,
Oh,
Your
I know
Honor.
him
Good,
personally.
good morning. Opo.
Go ahead,
Magandang umaga
Attorney
po,
Ronquillo.
Your Honor. Sa ating pong rules on resignation, hindi po pwedeng effective immediately. Pero, ang requirement po, dapat meron siyang notice of resignation. The resignation must be accepted by the head of office, and that notice of acceptance is given to the person resigning. The moment he receives the notice that his resignation is accepted, that is the time that the resignation becomes effective, Your Honor.
Wala na tayong 30 days.
Your Honor, the 30-day period will apply if the head of office refuses to act on the letter of resignation. So, for example, if he files a letter of resignation and there is no action, within 30 days, it will become effective.
So, because we want to clarify, katulad ni Atty. Del Rosario, nag-resign siya in spite of the fact that we have so many legal cases which we have to clarify with him. Ang tanong ko, inaccept na ba ng board?
Attorney Mangawang is recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the resignation of Jojo Del Rosario was accepted yesterday
By the board or by Mr. De Jesus?
by the board, Mr. Chair, because it was the board which appointed him, so it is also the board that must accept the resignation, sir.
Was there a board resolution regarding the acceptance?
Sir, I'm still drafting the board resolution because the board meeting took place only yesterday.
So wala pa kayong minutes.
Minutes are still being drafted, sir, but I can issue a secretary certificate
Pero
to
next question, hindi ba kinonsider ng board na hindi dapat muna i-accept ang resignation sapagkat alam naman natin ang ongoing investigation involving so many cases na ang makakasagot ay yung head ng legal, si Attorney Del Rosario. So okay lang sa board. So sa madaling sabi, ang nakikita namin ngayon, kahit sino sa inyo pwede mag-resign pagkatapos wala na kaming matatanong. Ang sasagot naman ng papalit sa legal, I was not yet the head of the legal during that period and I do not know all those cases, which is a familiar answer coming from the PhilHealth officials. Okay.
Honorable Barsaga, ang isa po kong difficulty natin dito, pwede naman po nating i-compel kahit private person to attend, pero hindi na siya on behalf of PhilHealth. Na para bang pag nag-submit tayo sa PhilHealth ng isang imbitasyon, yung kanilang leadership will be attending. At pag tinanong natin si Atty. Del Rosario, institutionally, nagre-represent siya ng opisina ng PhilHealth. So ito na ngayon ho ang isang komplikasyon dito. And yes, I agree with the Honorable Barsaga. Medyo parang yung board naman ata dapat inayos muna ng tama na may ayos to. But because as I've said, no, wala na kayong leadership dito ngayon. So at any rate, Honorable Kabatbat, you were raising your, yes.
Mr. Chair, may issue lang ako doon kanina sa video. Tapos na po ba tayo dito?
Yes.
Napanood ko kasi yung video. This is for Commissioner Lizada. Nung napanood ko yung video, kung totoong yun yung video, hindi edited, hindi unadulterated, hindi malinaw na may suppression eh. Although parang ganun ang labas, lalo na pag binasa mo sa transcript. Siguro ano lang advice lang kay kay Commissioner Lizada. Next time mangyari yan, clarify that with your peers. Na ipaulit mo, pag yun pa rin ang instruction niya na illegal, you object. No, you don't go directly to whoever, to the Congress, to the media. Linawin nyo among yourselves kasi po Zoom na tayo ngayon eh. Yung kaninang pinapanood ko parang biglang may nag-butt in, so hindi talaga maliwanag. Piece of advice lang kay Commissioner Lizada, Mr. Chair.
Yes, okay. Para isa na po itong issue ng CSC, I'd like to recognize the Honorable Commissioner Lizada in Zoom. Commissioner Lizada, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning po. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Going back ho dun sa 30-day notice, under our rules po, Section 104, Rule 10, the general rule is that there should be a 30-day notice exemption. It can be earlier, provided that the employee and appointing authority mutually agree for an earlier period. And Section 104, Paragraph E, the appointing authority can suspend the effectivity of resignation when a national emergency has been declared by the appropriate authority. Just sharing po doon sa 30-day period na tinatanong niyo ho kanina. Regarding ho doon sa comment po, Mr. Chair, regarding doon sa suppression, precisely the minutes was supposed to be approved. I did not move for the approval of the minutes kasi hindi ho naka-reflect and I wanted it to work within the system. Kaya nag-prepare ho kami ng memo to include na yung phrase po niya na this information should not be shared with the public or anyone who will ask us in aid of legislation or investigation should be reflected in the minutes. Sir, it came out because I was asked during the last hearing and I would have wanted to correct it within the system. Kaya nga ako naglagay, gumawa ng memo. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Lizada, thank you for that, Honorable Kabatbat. Your comments are duly noted. Ngayon po, pumasok na po tayo. We'd like to recognize the Honorable Garin. The Honorable Garin here. Doon po sa list natin to, no, from the last time. Nasa Zoom po ba? Okay, the Honorable Garin is not present. May I recognize the Honorable Ilago? Okay?
Wala.
Okay, with that, we now recognize the Honorable Dan Fernandez.
Okay, maraming pong salamat, Mr. Chairman. At kala ko ito na po yung huling araw natin ng investigasyon. Meron pa pala po tayong isa. At maganda pong balita yon para na sa ganun po ay personally ay atin din maimbitahan si Secretary Duque para mabigyan po ng kalinawagan yung mga marami po nating mga katanungan. At alam niyo, Mr. Chairman, itong ating pong ginagawang investigasyon, meron pong mga anomalya externally and internally sapagkat nakita rin po natin, Mr. Chairman, that doon po sa loob ng bids and awards sila, meron din po tayong napansin na kakaiba. At noong nakaraang hearing po, kaya hindi na po ako nakapagsalita dahil naubos po ang oras natin. And at the same time, hinahanap po natin yung representative ng bids and awards para tayong mga tanga na naghahanap. Yung pala, andito lamang po sila. Ma'am Nerissa Santiago, andito po kayo, ang ating pong chairperson. Hinahanap po namin kayo noon. E nandito lang po pala kayo, hindi kayo nagsasalita. Ba't ba nanahimik kayo noon nung hinahanap po namin yung representative ng BAC? Para bang nananahimik kayo? Bakit po ba?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning po, Your Honors. Ang natatandaan ko po kasi, ang question po nun is yung pagpo-post sa website. Yun po kasing back
Hindi po,
numbers.
hinahanap po namin kung sino po yung representative ng
The
bids
exact
and
question was,
awards.
sino yung members ng bids and awards?
Yes.
At nagulat po kami, Ms. Santiago, na kayo na pala po, yung mismong chairperson.
Nananahimik kayo. Ang tanong ko lang ho, bakit do kayo nananahimik? Kayo po yung hinahanap namin. Hinahanap nga lang namin, representative lang eh. Pero yung chairperson, andito po pala. Ba't po kayo nanahimik nun?
Pasensya na po. I apologize po. Hindi ko po na...
Hindi po kayo nakikinig.
Hindi ko po na...
Ganun po ba? Alam niyo, Mr.
Honorable
Chairman.
Fernandez, if I may ask lang, ma'am, actuarial po kayo, di ba?
Yes po.
Opo. Kayo po yung head ng actuary ng PhilHealth.
Yes po.
Marami po kayong trabaho sa ginagawa dyan. Isang departamento po yan.
Yes po.
Bakit po kayo napunta sa BAC para sa IT?
Lahat po kasi ng SVP position, kami po yung head ng Bids and Awards Committee. Hindi po yung sa Secretariat, but yung sa BAC. So, hati-hati po kasi yung BAC ng Goods and Services, IT, Infrastructure, Consulting po.
So maring ang SVP, let's say si Dr. Pargas, pwede siya maging head ng BAC pag bibili ng mga office supplies.
Yes po. Siya po ang head ng Goods and Services.
Anyway, sige, go ahead, Honorable Fernandez.
Kaya nga kasi nananahimik si ma'am. Alam mo, Chairman, di ba kapag tayo nanliligaw ng babae, kapag sinabi mong I love you, tapos hindi nagsasalita, guilty yun. Kasi ibig sabihin mo, yes. Di ba? Dito sa investigasyon natin, kapag hindi ka nagsalita, ibig sabihin guilty ka. Di ba? Ma'am Nerissa Santiago, meron po ba kayo natatandaan na noong 2018 na October, kasi siguro naman pinakinggan niyo yung hearing natin no, about dun sa purchase po ninyo nung tinatawag po nating desktop and laptops, na 6.9 million ang pinurchase po ninyo. Kayo po nakapirma at ang members ng BAC. At sinasabi ng batas under GAA 2018 na bawal sa Section 23. Dahil yun dapat binibili natin sa PSDBM. Di ba? At doon, pag bumili ka doon, mura. Sa inyo, binili nyo 62,000 eh. Sa PSDBM, 39,000 lamang. So, aware kayo sa pagpaprocure nyo na bawal?
Para lang po maintindihan ng mga nakikinig sa atin, ang lahat ng purchase ng gobyerno, lahat ng opisina ng gobyerno sumusunod sa DBM. Yun po binabanggit ni Honorable Fernandez na doon po sa kanya nakita yung doon sa DBM price list ay 39,000. Dito po sa PhilHealth,
62,000 each at 6.9 million. So yung pagpaprocure nyo, hindi lang sobra, Mr. Chairman, mali. May technical malversation under Article 220 ng Revised Penal Code. Aware ba kayo dito na mali ang ginawa ninyo? Ma'am Nerissa Santiago.
Noon pong
Hindi po, ano lang po, mali po ba yung ginawa nyo o hindi?
alam ko rin po na pagka available siya sa PSDBM, then we are
Alam nyo na po na pwedeng i-purchase sa PSDBM pero binili pa rin po ninyo sa 62,000. 111 units to, Mr. Chairman. 111 units, 62,000 each. Eh doon sa PSDBM, 39,000 lang. So, anong reason nyo? Bakit nyo pinurchase? Bawal.
pwede po sigurong i-revisit yung
Hindi natin
specifications.
pwede revisit ito kasi na-purchase nyo na po na consummated na po. O meron ho kayong...
Ang point mo, Honorable Fernandez, pareho na specification. PhilHealth at PSDBM. Ang diferensya ng presyo, 62,000 sa inyo, 39,000 sa DBM.
Yes, correct, Mr. Chairman. Kaya nga tinatanong ko siya kung tama ba yung ginawa nila. Tama po ba o mali? Yes or no lang po. Kasi hindi nyo naman pwede explain to kasi na-procure nyo na eh. Nakuha nyo na yung mga desktops eh. Nabili nyo na, nabayaran nyo na, pero sinasabi ng batas, Section 23 ng 2018 sa GAA, hindi kayo pwede bumili. Kasi meron tayong available sa PSDBM. Tama po ba o mali yung pagkaka-purchase nyo?
Tama po yung ruling na basta nasa PSDBM po, doon po dapat bibilhin.
So mali po. Okay. Meron po bang nag-certify? O meron bang nagsabi sa inyo na tama to? Ito ba yung dinala nyo po sa legal? Ito po ba ay kumbaga parang pinasok nyo po muna sa inyong department ng legal para malaman kung tama o mali yung gagawin yung procurement?
Doon po sa committee members po ng BAC.
Sino po ba mga members ng committee?
Doon po sa BAC IT, ang members po ay ako po, tapos po si Attorney Dodi Pineda, ang Vice Chair po, at si Miss Evangeline Roselis po, another member, si Attorney Ernie Barbados po, another member, si Miss Cora Jaime, and
so lahat po yan nakapirma?
doon po sa back
bids,
resolution po.
Doon sa sa pag-award nyo, lahat to nakapirma?
Back resolution po, yes po.
Nanggaling po ba to sa legal? Humingi kayo ng certification? Kasi nga, syempre legal, alam nila yan na bawal ba yan o hindi. Kasi may pakikita po akong certification dito, no? I hope nandiyan po si Attorney Del Rosario. Andiyan po ba si Attorney Del Rosario?
Nasa Zoom po natin siya.
Kasi pakita lang po natin to, no? Tanungin lang po natin si Attorney Del Rosario.
Attorney Del Rosario is recognized.
Good afternoon. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Your Honors, magandang umaga po.
Magandang umaga po. Honorable Fernandez.
Good morning, Attorney Del Rosario.
Yes, sir.
At kumusta naman ang iyong bakasyon?
Ito, sir. Still attending the different hearings at nagpapahinga po to recuperate from my illnesses.
Okay, sana nasa magandang kakalagayan. Attorney Del Rosario, natatanda mo ba?
Maraming salamat po.
Certification na in-issue mo about sa desktop na binili niyo noong 2018 at nang inirelease to at na-deliver sa inyo noong 2019 na tinadhana ng batas sa bawal pero binili niyo pa rin. Tanda mo ba to? Ay, pakikita ko sa iyo yung certification na in-issue mo.
Yes, sir. The certification...
tingnan mo muna yung attorney okay. Para at least baka ma-remind ka na ito ay pinirmahan mo mismo na sinecertify mo na ito ay nag-undergo ng appropriate evaluation. Yan, attorney. So, natatandaan mo to?
Actually, sir, that is not my signature. No? The Internal Legal Department Senior Manager signed in my behalf.
Signature tong...
Naka-form.
naman ito, si Rogelio Pocolan.
Yes, sir. So
hindi.
Masabi ko lang, Mr. Chair, that the review of the legal sector pertains to the whether the bidding conformed to the provisions of the Procurement Act And the format actually of the contract is being reviewed din po ng Office of the Government.
Okay, so kung hindi ka nakapirma dito si Attorney Pucalan, pero sa contract between PhilHealth saka sa Masangkay Computer Center, nakapirma ka, Attorney Del Rosario. Ayan.
Yes, sir.
Nakapirma si Jovita Haragona, si Villasin, ikaw, si Basa, si Kilap, si Roy Ferrer. Lahat kayo nakapirma dito. Na ibig sabihin, inaalaw nyo yung pagbili noong 6.9 million, 111 units for 62,000 each. Tama ba yun o mali, Attorney?
Yes, sir. I think I signed as one of the witnesses sa contract. But the legal sector, sir, does not review the budget or amount of...
Pero being the legal head ng PhilHealth, Attorney Del Rosario, dapat alam mo yung mga existing na batas na sinasabi ng 2018 GAA, Section 23. Bawal ang bumili ng desktop saka laptop dahil to dapat bibilin sa PSDBM. Pero binili nyo pa rin, pinirmahan nyo pa rin yung kontrata. Bakit? Mr. Attorney Del Rosario, bakit?
I have to review that, sir. No, I don't remember the details of the contract. But based on RA 9184, it is the Bids and Awards Committee that is accountable in ensuring the compliance of a particular procurement procedure in the conformity to all laws and to the procurement.
Attorney Del Rosario, hindi nga kayo compliant dahil sa Republic Act 9184, Annex C, no? Sinasabi doon, dapat kapag nagpo-procure kayo, ang maximum allowable period of time for procurement is only 136 days. Pero dito sa kontrata nyo, Mr. Chairman, inabot kayo ng 240 days. Mula sa pre-bid, sa advertisement, sa notice of award, saka notice to proceed, dapat 136 days lamang. Yan ang sinasabi ng Republic Act 9184. Pero sumobra kayo. Notice of award, 240 days. That is violation, Attorney Del Rosario. Aside sa violation nyo sa Republic Act ng GAA 2018, Section 23, binayolate din nyo yung Republic Act 9184. At pumirma kayo sa kontrata para i-release itong mga desktop na pinagbabawal ninyong bilhin. Bakit, Attorney?
I will need to review the details of that, Mr. Chairman.
Hindi na mare-review to kasi nga na-procure nyo na ito Nagawa nyo na yung pagkakamali. Ngayon, ang tanong ko sa inyo, kahit bawal, binibili ninyo, para kayong merong kinikilingan. Attorney Del Rosario, ikaw ay Region 1 Director. Nung 2015, tama po ba yon?
August of 2015, yes, that's correct.
2015, okay. May natatandaan ka ba na may pinirmahan ka na pag-approve ng procurement ng desktop uli, same supplier, noong 2015, 1.2 million. Noong July 30, 2015. Ikaw ang pumirma dito. Yan, Attorney. Natatandaan mo ba yung natatandaan mo ba yan?
It appears to be my signature, Mr. Chairman, but I don't remember exactly the...
That is back resolution, para ma-remind kita, back resolution number 35, series 2015. At inaalaw nyo na bumili ng 1.2 million desktop at ang nanalong supplier ay same doon sa inaprubahan nyo na bawal, yung Masangkay. At ang masama dito, Mr. Chairman, yung pinagbigyan nyo ng proyekto, according sa PhilHealth, sa inyo mismo, under blacklisting order number 01-2015, blacklisted sila mula June 30, 2015 to June 29, 2016. Pero noong July 30, 2015, binigay nyo yung kontrata at inaprubahan nyo yung pagbili ng desktop. Bakit, Attorney Del Rosario? Blacklisted na. Tapos binigyan nyo pa rin ng proyekto. Bakit po?
I don't remember that, Your Honor, and I'm not aware that that particular supplier is blacklisted. And who issued the blacklisting? I'm not
Attorney,
aware.
being a lawyer, due diligence, no? Siyempre, kapag abogado ka, siyempre, check mo lahat ng mga legality nung inyong pipirmahang mga dokumento. Ako nga, hindi nga ako abogado eh. Nung mayor ako eh, talagang bawat lahat sa kontrata, tinitignan ko kung sila ba ay disqualified, sila ba ay blacklisted.
Honorable Fernandez, mabilis na singit lang ho. Ma'am, yan po yung binabanggit ni Deputy Speaker Fernandez. Dapat sa back, kung blacklisted po yan, bakit nyo pinabayaan makapag-bid?
Totoo, Mr. Chairman. Sino tinatanong niyo?
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, ginawa po yata to sa region, so hindi po sa central office. Sa central office.
Yes, but kahit
Yes,
na po
correct. Ginawa ito sa region, pero you have the command responsibility sa national dahil kayo nag-i-issue ng mga blacklisted companies. Galing yan sa national. Dapat alam din ng national to. But at any rate, Mr. Chairman.
No.
Okay.
Deputy Speaker Fernandez, just to emphasize yung point mo, ang ibig sabihin, blacklisted ka sa national, pwede ka mag-bid sa ARM?
No, Mr. Chairman, as a matter of fact.
Region 1? Hindi, di ba?
Correct, hindi. Dapat buong Pilipinas at ang nakalagay dito sa inyo pong order, they cannot transact sa lahat ng government agencies, Mr. Chairman. No, Mr. Chairman, alam mo parang balik tayo kay Attorney Del Rosario. Attorney Del Rosario, ano pong masasabi niyo doon?
I think I have to look into the documents. Kailan po naging effect yung blacklisting at whether that particular procurement activity has already been ongoing from the blacklisting. So I don't remember the details of that, Your Honor.
Okay, Attorney Del Rosario, no? Kasi ang nakakamahiwaga sa akin dito, Mr. Chairman, itong the same group ng supplier, yung Masangkay Computer Center, na noong 2018 to 2019, pinagbabawal na ng batas na bumili ng desktop. Bumili ka pa rin doon, Attorney Del Rosario. At doon noong 2015, nung ikaw ang Region 1 Director, itong the same company, na blacklisted, binigyan mo pa rin ng project. At as a matter of fact, Mr. Chairman, kahit noong 2017, meron din silang project, bali pa rin yung kanilang maximum allowable time para sa pagbili ng mga goods. Sumusobra pa rin sila sa araw. Para meron silang pattern, Mr. Chairman, no? From Region 1, si Attorney Del Rosario, inakay niya yung Masangkay hanggang sa national, bawal na bumili pa rin sila. Parang
that is not a fair statement, Mr. Chairman.
Lagi kayong
sandali tayong inaakay.
Attorney Del Rosario.
Just a quick Honorable Del Rosario, may mga dokumento si Congressman Fernandez eh.
Yes, sir.
So, palagay ko hindi naman unfair factual yung pinapakita niya. Kaya nga tinatanong niya yung back at tinatanong kanya para mailinaw tong punto to. Pero may mga dokumento siyang pinapakita.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. But the insinuation na inakay ko po yung provider is not fair, no? Dahil una, the procurement process, ang determination niyan ay sa Bids and Awards Committee and sa end user. The role of legal there is to review whether the process conformed with the procurement provisions in RA 9184, no? So it's not fair to...
Mr. Chairman, Attorney Del Rosario, dapat nga talaga tinitingnan nila lahat ng evaluation. At ikaw nga yung nag-certify pa nga eh. Doon sa pagbili ng laptops.
Hindi nga ako, sir eh. Di ba? It was not my signature.
It was not your signature, but coming from your legal department.
It was processed by the internal legal department.
Sandali muna, Attorney Del Rosario. Tanungin muna natin si yung nakapirma ditong isa, si Pukotan.
Attorney Pukalan is recognized.
Pukalan, Attorney Pukalan. Sige, tatanungin kita. Okay.
Klaro lang. Attorney De Rosario, nakikinig ka rin, ano?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hindi ibig sabihin na hindi ikaw ang nakapirma. Kung nanggaling sa department mo, is you do not have command responsibility. But being
Yeah,
fair,
I understand.
Attorney Pukalan kindly reply.
Attorney Pukulan, ito yung dokumento na nagse-certify na sinasabi, kahit sabi bawal sa batas bumili, dapat bumili kayo sa PSDBM. Sinicertify dito na lahat nag-undergo sa appropriate evaluation and upon review of the specific provision, no legal impediment for the final execution. Ikaw ang pumirma. So, ikaw ba humingi ng authority kay Attorney Del Rosario?
Mr. Chair, good morning. We have CPO on the who will be the OIC in case Attorney Del Rosario is on leave or on official travel, no? So ako po ang next in rank sa kanya in case meron po nasa on leave po siya or nasa official travel.
During that time, na pinirmahan mo to on behalf of Attorney Del Rosario.
Yes, sir. I only sign in behalf of Attorney Del Rosario, of course, with
So,
his
pinirmahan mo to
clearance.
on behalf of Attorney Del Rosario.
Yes, Your Honor.
At
But
hindi-
I would like to clarify, sir, no?
Sige, go ahead.
When the document is endorsed to the Internal Legal Department for review of the contract, we always require duly signed back resolution from the concerned back because that is the only assurance.
Attorney Pukulan, sandali muna. Okay tayo doon sa lahat ng procedure kapag nagbibid pag nag-aano tayo, nagpo-procure tayo. In the first place, hindi ito pwedeng mag-undergo ng process dahil mali na. Dahil sinasabi ng GAA 2018, Section 23, bawal kayong bumili ng desktop and laptops. Kaya sabihin mo kung ano man yung klase ng procurement na ginagawa nyo, hindi na pwede magproseso.
Sir,
Dahil in the
but
first
that was-
place, bawal nga.
Sir, but that was already approved by the concerned back, validated by the TWG of the back
Hindi nyo ba
IT.
alam yung batas na GAA
Okay.
2018, Section 23? Hindi nyo alam?
Sir,
Are you aware of that? Yes or no?
We
I
are
think,
aware of the RA.
Attorney Pukalan,
Yes, sir.
ang question dito kasi, yung PSDBM, sinertify mo pa. Pero lumalabas nga, mas mura yung PSDBM. So yung certification mo, based dun sa recommendation ng BAC. But
Yes, sir.
ang sinasabi ni Honorable Fernandez, mali nga. Kasi kung chinek nyo lang yung PSDBM at chinek nyo yung presyo na to, makikita mo kagad yung conflict na mas mababa ang PSDBM.
Sir, but that obligation is should have been performed by the BAC because under the procurement law, the BAC itself is duty
As a lawyer,
bound to ensure
okay,
strict
Attorney
compliance
Pukalan,
with the
as a
procurement.
lawyer, nilagay mo yung pirma mo doon. So pabayaan na natin yung kasong yan. Pero sinasabi ko sa iyo, pumirma ka and you take responsibility based on the recommendation of BAC. Pag nag-file ng kaso, you cannot just point to the BAC because you certified the actions of the BAC. So yun na lang po siguro.
Tama, okay.
Honorable Fernandez.
At least, okay.
Mr. Chairman.
At any rate, moving forward tayo, at alam naman natin na mali na yung ginawa nila at nagpapalusot pa sila. Attorney Del Rosario, are you aware of Republic Act 11127?
I don't remember, Your Honor.
Ito po yung pagbibigay ng authority doon po sa inyong ginawang payment system ng PhilHealth na dapat po ay aprobado ng ating pong Bangko Sentral. Kasi hindi ko po kayo natanong noon. Kasi
Yes, sir.
kung kayo legal, syempre lahat ng mga gagawin nyo sa PhilHealth dapat dumadaan po sa legal para hindi po nailalagay sa alanganin yung inyong pong PhilHealth Board. Kasi nga dito, dahil sinasabi ng batas, under National Payment System, dapat authorized kayo, dapat supervised kayo, dapat regulated kayo. Hindi kayo makakapag-release ng pera sa National Payment System. Paglalagay ng pera sa hospital o sa mga different LGUs, bawal yun. Aware po ba kayo dito na ginawa niyo yung payment system pero hindi pa kayo authorized ng batas?
No, sir. I'm not aware that there is a deficiency in the compliance of PhilHealth. But may I also point out that the payment system of PhilHealth has been existing since its creation, Your Honor.
Existing, ano, since what?
Since the creation of PhilHealth, that payment through the banks has already been implemented, Your
Tama
Honor.
ka doon, Attorney Del Rosario. As a matter of fact, ay ito pong batas na to ay naaprubahan lamang no October 2018. Pinirmahan po ng Pangulo ng Bansa, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. At ayon sa Bangko Sentral, yung implementing rules ay na-implement noong October 1, 2019. Now, noong 2019, hindi po ba kayo nag-undergo na maaprubahan kayo ng Bangko Sentral at you'll be under regulation and supervision? O talagang iniiwasan ninyo na mag-undergo sa Bangko Sentral dahil nga mabubuko na yung ginawa nyo, yung modus operandi nyo, wala na, sira na, masasayang araw. Di ba? Kasi
that again, sir, is an unfair insinuation.
Ito, Attorney Del Rosario, ito pong scheme na sinasabi ng Bangko Sentral, tunay na napakahigpit pagdating sa payment system. Hindi kayo basta-basta makakapag-release ng pera kung hindi dadaan sa Bangko Sentral sa kanilang payment system scheme. Ngayon, Mr. Chairman, anong ginawa nyo noong October 2019? Nung malaman ninyo na meron ng ganitong implementing rules and regulation ng ating pong Bangko Sentral, sabi ng ating operating payment system, si Atty. Duque, hindi kayo nag-undergo. Kayo bilang abogado, kayo ang legal department, dapat alam ninyo to. Ano pong ginawa ninyo?
Sir, I think the payment system, the end user can very well explain that. But on October 2019, for the record, I was not. I was on study leave, no. So I'm not familiar with the law that you mentioned. But I recognize that that particular requirement of law should have been reviewed by the legal sector.
Okay, Ma'am Aragona, ang dami po nating mga consultants, no? Lumalabas dito, nakita po natin yung mga consultants ninyo na mula 2015 hanggang 2020 ay umabot po tayo ng almost 53 million na binabayad po natin sa kanila. At kung babasahin ko po dito yung mga consultants nyo, mula 2015, ayan, si Angelito Abando, 375,000 2015. Tapos dumating po siya ng 2016, 570,000. Ano lang yan ha? 6 months lang yan ha? Tapos noong 2017, 1 milyon. Hinati nyo pa. In-split nyo. Kasi nga, siyempre, pag lumampas ka na ng 1 milyon, Mr. Chairman, kailangan mo nang mag-bid dito eh. So ito, negotiated, ginawa nila, in-split nila sa dalawang department. 570,000 sa Office of the Vice President ng IMS. Pareho to eh. Pareho rin sa 2017. Office of the Vice President IMS din, 475,000 naman. Ma'am Aragona, bakit ganito po? Bakit ang dami-dami po ninyong consultant sa iba't ibang department, pero yung payment system ninyo, hindi nyo pa maayos. Nagkaroon pa kayo ng problema ngayon sa Republic Act 11127. Ma'am Aragona, sagot po.
Mr. Chair, yung total amount po ng consultants from
Pakilakas po, ma'am, yung boses po.
Yung total amount of consultants from 2018 to 2020 is the 2.3 million po for the individual consultants. Hindi po 53 million, 2.3 po yung pong actual na spent namin for the consultants.
Ano 2.3 million, sabi niyo?
Alin po yun?
2.392,500. 2.3 po. Yung for the consultants. So, iba-iba pong mga consultants yon for different areas. So, meron for business intelligence, meron for privacy, information security. So, meron po siya from different offices. Hindi lang po sa office po ng sector ko.
Dami po ninyo ng consultant. Hindi pa ba kayo na-advise ng IT expert nyo? Consultant sila di ba? Magaling yung sa IT yan Hindi ba nila na-advise sa inyo na dapat mag-under ko kayo ng ng e-commerce law para po yung payment system nyo is talagang nababantayan at na-audit? Kasi sa sistema po ninyo ngayon, hindi po katanggap-tanggap Dahil ang dami yung pinrocure, no? Ma'am Argona, no? Kung iisa-isahin ko lang po itong inyong mga pinrocure. Narito po yung mga sa software lang to ha. Network Security Enhancement, 18 million. Sinasabi ng batas under Republic Act 9184 sa procurement law, dapat bibili nyo to, yung bidding process 156. Umabot kayo ng 210 days. Lampas-lampas kayo. 19 million para doon sa licenses lang. 156 days din ang sinasabi ng batas. 180 days bago po nakapag-issue kayo ng notice to proceed. Ito pong lot service management solution, software din, 15 million. Ang sinasabi ng batas, 156 days dapat delivered. 180 days notice to proceed pa lang. At ang isa pa sa pinakamabigat, ito 79 million. Bago nag-issue ng notice to proceed, 8 months. 240 days kayong delayed. At isang pinakamatagal, Mr. Chairman, 19.4 million database licenses lang and support. 9 months, 270 days bago nakapag-issue ng notice to proceed. Bakit po ganun katagal? Ma'am, Nanita, kayo po ang chairman ng BAC. Bakit po ganun katagal yung pag-aantay po ninyo bago kayo mag-issue ng notice to proceed? Sinasabi ng batas, 156 days lang. Dapat delivered. Sa inyo, issuance pa lamang ng notice to proceed. Hindi pa nyo natatanggap yung mga in-order nyo. Bakit po?
As far as I can recall po, kasi pagka nag-recommend na po kami ng notice of award to the President, so yung pong kontrata will be reviewed by the legal. Tapos po meron pong lumabas na ruling na it has to go through OGCC na review po ng kontrata. Kaya medyo nagtatagal po pagdating sa review ng contract.
Sino po nagre-review ng kontrata?
Alam ko po yung legal department.
Sino po sa legal department?
During
Si Atty. Del Rosario.
Opo, siya po yung head ng legal.
Okay, Atty. Del Rosario, bakit po tumatagal sa inyong kontrata? Noong mga pinoprocure po natin mga softwares, umaabot po ito ng, kung pagsasama-samahin po natin, almost 500 million po ito. Lahat po, halos lahat po sila, delayed.
Ganito, Mr. Chairman, if I may respond.
Go ahead.
The notice to proceed precedes the preparation of the contract. So if you are talking about the delay from the start of the procurement until the notice to proceed, it has nothing to do with the preparation of the contract. Now the records will show that the PhilHealth Internal Legal Department has a turnaround time of less than 20 days in the review of contracts presented before our office.
Yes, Atty. Del Rosario, alam na po natin yan. Pero ang binabanggit po dito sa bidding process ng Annex C ng Republic Act 9184, pagdating po sa procurement ng mga solution, software, 156 days, calendar days ang tinatadhana. Ang sinasabi ko po sa inyo, from the moment na na-advertise nyo po to, okay? At sa moment na nag-release kayo ng notice of award, umaabot na po kayo, lampas na po kayo sa tinadhana na 156 days lahat ng binasa ko po dito, ng mga kontrata po ninyo, wala naman pong mga problema, wala naman pong violation.
Yeah. Hindi po nagtatagal sa legal yan, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
if you would want to request from PhilHealth, the turnaround time for every step, it's not with the legal office na nagtatagal.
Chairman, hindi totoong hindi nagtatagal yung turnaround. Dahil kung pakikita ko sa inyo mga dokumento, okay, so kung sa legal 20 days lamang, sino may problema? Kung sa legal na sinasabi mo, 20 days tumatagal sa inyo, o sino nag-i-issue ng notice to proceed?
That can be answered by the Bids and Awards Committee or the Secretariat for the Bids and Awards Committee or the office of or the head of procuring entity himself.
Okay, so 20 days sa iyo, hindi nagtatagal yung paghahanda ng kontrata. O, Netita, Santiago. So, sino nag-i-issue ng notice to proceed?
Mr. Chair, yung notice to proceed po, ang alam ko po yung sa Hope, sa Office of the President na po.
So, ibig mo sabihin si General Morales ang nag-i-issue ng notice to proceed?
Yun po ang pagkakaalam ko.
Anong taon to?
Mr. Chairman, ano po to? 2018, 2019, at 2020.
Wala pa noong 2018 si General Morales.
Okay, 2018. Si Roy Ferrer, ang acting president. At noong 2019, may pirma na rin dito sila, meron na rin po sila General Morales. So, ibig mo sabihin, nagtatagal ang notice to proceed sa office ng President.
Mr. Chair, natatandaan ko po, this year, January 2020, there was a ruling na kailangan idaan sa OGCC. So kaya po medyo nagtagal din, nagkaroon ng additional step ng review ng contract ng OGCC. So yun po yung natatandaan ko this year na nangyari. Kaya nagkadagdag
Mr. Chairman, dyan po ba si General Morales?
Comsec, is General Morales present?
Kasi ito pong nakikita po natin, Mr. Chairman, may pattern po talaga na lahat halos ng kanilang mga procurement ng software, lagpas doon sa sinasabi po ng batas. At any rate, Mr. Chairman, andiyan po ba si Attorney Duque? Attorney Duque, kayo... Attorney Duque, sinabi niyo po nung nakaraang hearing na wala kayong authority sa pagre-release niyo ng pera sa mga ospital, no? So, paano po yung ginagawa niyo sistema para matransfer yung pera na galing sa PhilHealth papunta po saan?
Okay, good morning, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. Okay, ang currency proseso po natin ngayon, no, from the part ng Treasury Department, we just encrypt the file. Wala po tayong ginagawang any fund transfer na diretso po sa ating mga regional offices. Kinokulate lang po yung file na kung paano po yung pag-fund transfer. And then after po nun, it's the system of the land bank who would actually do the transfer from the central office to the regional offices.
So, okay. So, meron tayong tinatawag na payment system, di ba? Yung auto credit payment system,
Yes,
So,
yes, sir.
bumili tayo. Yan nga ginamit natin sa mga...
Yung po kasi yung
binili
term-
natin mga milyong-milyong mga softwares, Para meron po tayong security, tapos yung mga server natin na makakalat ng mga datos, na ibabangga natin doon sa perang inire-release natin. For example, nag-release tayo sa Cardinal Santos ng 100 million. Ano pong ginagawa niyong security under sa inyo pong software, doon po sa inyong payment system? Paano niyo po masisigurado na yung perang inilabas galing sa gobyerno, may kaukulang mga security measures para protected tayo? Ano po yung mga ginagamit yung safety features?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, ang security measure po dito, sir, ang paglabas po ng pera from the central office or from the mother account of PhilHealth is through the land bank, which is actually registered with the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to transfer the fund to our regional offices. And then our regional offices, through the system, sila naman po ngayon.
So, ibig mo sabihin, from national, dadalhin yung pera doon sa regional
Sir,
offices?
through the land bank po.
Through land bank?
Yes, sir, through the land bank of the Philippines. Hindi po PhilHealth.
Ang mahal ng binili natin mga software. Ang mahal ng binili nating mga programa na dapat, di ba, hindi na siya, dumaan na siya directly, di ba? Pero it seems, Mr. Chairman, parang pinakomplicate nyo, sinayang natin ang pagbili natin ng mga ICU equipments, ng mga softwares, tapos wala tayong mga safety measures. Kasi kung makikita mo yung sinubmit nyo sa amin, kailangan may password ka lang, may username ka lamang. Pwede ka na mag-access, i-deliver na yung pera sa kanila. At ang tingin ko, Mr. Chairman, dito nagsisimula yung pagkawala ng pera eh. Kasi nga, yung ating payment system ng PhilHealth, hindi po talaga sa ganon ka-secured dahil wala nga pong nagre-regulate. At any rate, Mr. Chairman, yun na lang po muna ang aking pong i-discuss at yun lamang masasabi ko po ay nakita natin yung kanilang mga attitude, no? Na pati pwede yung ating mga sistema natin napapalusutan nila, pati yung ating pong tinatawag na batas ay napapaglaruan nila. Pero I hope na this time, dito sa 18th Congress, sa pangunguna po ni Speaker Alan Cayetano at sa mandato ng ating Pangulo na talagang i-eradicate yung corruption sa mga ahensya ng gobyerno, this time kahit kasing tagal na kayo kung kayo tumagal ng 20 years dito, mananagot po kayo sa batas. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman, at magandang umaga po.
Maraming salamat, Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez. At kung maaari yung mga dokumentong pinakita mo, lalo tigit nun sa bidding, masubmit sa committee dahil particular sa issue na to yung IT. Kaya dapat makita rin natin. So with that, I'll proceed to the Honorable Stella Kimbo is recognized. Honorable Kimbo? Congresswoman Kimbo.
Yes, salamat po. Salamat, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Kimbo, we will have a break at 1 o'clock. Please proceed.
All right. Mr. Chair, kahit na po suspended ang IRM, sana po tandaan natin lahat na ang pondo po ay nandun pa rin po sa mga ospital. Kaya kung with your indulgence po, may I ask questions po relating to the IRM?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, ang una kong tanong ay para sa PhilHealth. Kung natatandaan po natin lahat in a previous hearing, Dr. Pargas stated that the IRM was intended really as a COVID response. And despite it being a COVID response, ay allowed po gamitin ng IRM funds para din sa non-COVID claims. And Mr. Chair, papasalamat po ako sa PhilHealth dahil sila po ay nag-submit po sa akin noong August 22 ng data po tungkol sa IRM. And so I'd like PhilHealth to confirm the following based na rin sa data na yon, na as of August 10 po, 14.9 billion has been released and 4.78 billion has been liquidated as of August 10. Tama po? Sino bang sumagot sa akin?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to call SVP Renette Limsiaco for the response.
Mr. Limsiaco, Fund Management is recognized.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, magandang tanghali po. On the part of the release po, nasa 14.9 pa rin po. Wala ho tayong additional na release po for the IRM.
And ang liquidated po as of August 10 is 4.78 billion. Tama po?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, pakiulit po yung sa liquidation figure po.
4.78 billion. May liquidation na po ba?
Based sa latest report po ng ating IT po on the liquidation of the IRM, this one is August 19 po, nasa 3.56 billion po, 24% po.
Again, can you repeat that number? Sorry. For?
Latest figure po, ma'am, August 19 from our TFI po ay nasa 3.56 billion, 3.56 billion, Your Honor, 24% of the 14.9 billion.
Mr. Limsiaco, yung ibig sabihin po niyan, bayad na po yan. Pinayagan nyo ng kumulekta sila.
Nakuha na po natin ang portion ng naibigay natin na 14.9 billion.
Kaya nga, hindi.
Honor.
Pero yung pag niliquidate nila at sinabi yung liquidated na, okay na nilang kunin yung okay na, tapos na, official na.
Yes po, nakuha na po natin sa kanila.
Hindi nyo sinususpend, hindi nyo sinabing bawal, okay na itong 3.56 billion. Tapos na to. Ibig sabihin,
bayad na po nila.
Bayad na. Okay, go ahead, Honorable Kimbo.
Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang pong linawin na base po mismo sa data na sinabmit po sa atin, sa committee, at pati na rin sa akin, ang naka-indicate po is as of August 10, ay 4.78 na po. So, hindi ko po alam kung ano po yung sinasabi ni Mr. Limsiaco, pero ang based on the official na sinabit po sa atin, yan po ang nakita ko, 4.78 billion as of August 10. And so siguro po, sa ngayon po, pwede ako mag-proceed on the basis of the data submitted to us, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, please.
So Mr. Limsiaco, are you aware that on the basis of this submission to us, 4,106 facilities have approved allocations and 712 have received the funds and 458 have started to liquidate the funds? Are you aware of those numbers, Mr. Limsiaco?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, verify ko lang po yung figure po, parang hindi ata nagtutugma doon sa record po natin.
Pero ang sinasabi ko, Mr. Chair, ito ay base po sa submission. So siguro po itutuloy ko na lang po, no? So ayon sa submission na yan, ulitin ko po, Mr. Chair, ay 712 po ang facilities na nakatanggap ng funds, 458 ang nakapag-liquidate. But Mr. Limsiaco, are you aware that 346 of the 458, in other words, ang 75% na nakapag-liquidate ay as of August 10 ay zero pa ang kanilang COVID claims. In other words, lahat po ng claim ay para sa non-COVID despite the IRM mechanism intended for purposes of COVID response. Kayo po ba ay aware doon?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, ang pagka-explain po sa atin that the IRM is not only intended for the COVID cases, Your Honor, and ang liquidation po ay kasama din po yung mga other illnesses po, Your Honor.
O nga po, Mr. Chair, pero gusto kong sabihin nga po, gusto kong i-share itong natuklasan ko po. Doon na rin po sa data submission sa atin na ang 346 na nakikita nyo po dito, na meron pong kabuang 1.2 billion pesos na na-liquidate na. Ang 346 na yan, Mr. Chair, ay kahit isa po ay walang COVID claim. So yan po ang gusto kong sabihin kay Mr. Limsiaco kung siya ba ay aware sa ganitong sitwasyon.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, on the number of hospitals with the IRM that of course na mayroong mga pasyenteng IRM po, wala po akong information on that, Your Honor.
Since wala kang information, Mr. Limsiaco, ako na mismo mag-share sa inyo, ha? So itutuloy ko na po dito sa next slide ko. Ito po, meron po tayo ditong listahan ng facilities na meron ng 100% liquidated. So kung ano natanggap nila as of August 10 ay na-liquidate na nila ng buong buo. And we have 7 of those. So itong Metro Balayan Medical Center, Palawan Medical Mission Group, Divine Mercy, Allied Care Expert, RTN Foundation, Kataingan District Hospital, and Salcedo Doctors Hospital. So yung 7 na yan ay mayroong 100% liquidation. So kung ano meron sila na natanggap nila ay na-liquidate na nila ng buong buo. Pero po, Mr. Chair, kahit isa po ay wala po silang COVID claim. Kayo po ba ay aware dito?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, as of August 19 na figure, Your Honor, 17 hospitals na po, facilities po ang 100% ay fully liquidated po.
At Honorable Kimbo, maybe Dr. Pargas can answer that because medyo policy question tong nangyari, no? Because itong mga pondo inilagay sa mga ospital and kayo lang ang nag-release, Mr. Limsiaco. Dr. Pargas, are you aware of the data being presented by the Honorable Kimbo?
Mr. Chair, I have not seen the data being presented by Honorable Congresswoman. But Mr. Chair, again, I'd like to clarify lang po that the IRM is released and intended not only for COVID cases, and the liquidation is not only, again, charged to all those COVID cases, but all cases during the time of a pandemic.
Dr. Pargas, bakit po hindi nagkaroon na lang ng normal liquidation sa mga ospital kung hindi naman po COVID? Kasi supposedly ang programa nyo, COVID, kaya kayo nag-IRM. Ang mga ospital, ang pananaw, baka hindi nyo sila bayaran, baka magkaroon ng problema sa pondo, kaya sabi nyo, hindi, may pondo kami, ilalagay namin yan for COVID purposes. Ngayon, ang sinasabi nga ni Congresswoman Stella, biglang nagamit na for non-COVID.
Mr. Chair, if I may add, ang problema kasi dito is since naubos na ang pondo, paano po kung talagang may legit na may COVID na nagpunta po dito sa mga facilities na to? Baka sila po ay may ma-turn away nang dahil po wala ng pondo na naka-park po sa kanilang mga accounts. Hindi po ba yon ang malaking problema? Ang dahilan kung bakit ini-expedite po natin ang claims dapat para sa COVID patients para masigurado na kapag ikaw ay may COVID, ay meron kang access to hospitalization kung kailangan mo magpa-hospital. And number 2, para hindi rin makahawa ng iyong pamilya o iyong kapitbahay o ang iyong katrabaho. So ang hirap po dito sa isang sitwasyon na ubos ang pera para sa non-COVID, baka hindi magkaroon ng access to hospitalization ang may COVID, ang mangyayari po ay kakalat pa. Hindi lang sa baka mamatay ang ating COVID patient dahil hindi siya na ospital, but number 2, baka po kumalat pa sa kanilang mga lugar ang sakit. So yun po yung aking gusto pong i-point out. So Dr. Pargas, ito po ba ay hindi nyo nakitang problema sa inyong pag-design nitong polisiya na to?
Mr. Chair, opo, kaya po after the IRM, meron na rin po tayong ipinalabas na mga packages for the COVID cases itself, and also under the policy nung fortuitous events, including the IRM, the facilities po can actually ask also again for a second IRM, but with the caveat that 80% of the IRM has been liquidated and with all other 3 more criteria as stated in the policy.
Mr. Chair.
Dr. Pargas, mabilis lang po. Tama ba, Dr. Pargas, yung pagkaintindi ng aming komite na kahit yung utang dati ay pwede nilang i-liquidate sa IRM?
Mr. Chair, ano pong ibig niyo sabihin na yung utang?
Hindi yung mga cases ngayon. Kunyari, for example, sa isang ospital, may utang kayong 10 million, pwede niyang i-liquidate yun against IRM.
Mr. Chair, yung pong liquidation ng IRM ay magsa-start po sa lahat ng claims na tatanggapin ng PhilHealth on the day na de-declare po yung starting from the day na de-declare yung calamity. So doon po siya ma-charge.
So ang ibig sabihin, kung ang December 2019 accounts na utang ninyo ay hindi pwedeng i-liquidate under IRM.
Hindi po siya chargeable to the IRM. Ang nakalagay po sa liquidation is it will start from all the valid claims na na-file po from the start of the calamity.
Honorable Kimbo?
Mr. Chair, nilagay ko po dito sa aking screen yung patakaran po tungkol po sa IRM na maliwanag po na yung IRM po ay naimbento po para po sa fortuitous events. No? However, may qualification, fortuitous events resulting in displacement of communities. In other words, Mr. Chair, so dalawa lang po ang fortuitous events dito, act of God tulad ng bagyo, o pagbaha, katulad po na nangyari sa Typhoon Yolanda. O pangalawa po, act of man, no? So tulad po ng mga rebellion, insurgencies, resulting in the destruction of the health sector. Nang sa ganon, kailangan talaga maglagay ng malaking pondo sa mga ospital para mapabilis ang pag-repair at masigurado pong may access to healthcare ang ating mga kababayan in this situation po. So sa aking palagay Mr. Chair, hindi applicable po yung konsepto ng IRM dito po sa COVID kasi wala naman pong nasira na ospital. So yun ang aking pinagtatakahan, no? Binasa ko po ng buong buo itong circular tungkol po sa pag-apply ng IRM, and it's very clear that it's related to fortuitous events resulting in the destruction of healthcare facilities. So, Dr. Pargas, ano bang nangyari po dito? Bakit ninyo in-apply ang konsepto ng IRM dito po sa COVID when in fact, ang kailangan talaga na solusyonan sa pandemya is yung pagpapabilis ng claims processing. So ang nangyari po dito, and basahin natin ang definition ng IRM. Nakasulat po dito, a special privilege for the provision of substantial aid. So malaking pera, in other words, to an eligible healthcare institution directly hit by fortuitous event with clear and apparent intent to continuously operate and or rebuild. So klaro po dito na may pagkasirang nangyari sa ating healthcare facilities o di kaya mga ospital, kaya kinailangan na mag-park ng malaking amount for purposes of rebuilding. So bakit po naisip ng inyong group, ang policy group, ang EXECOM, na this is the appropriate response dito po sa COVID?
Mr. Chair, gaya po ng history ng IRM, it was intended katulad po nung nagkakaroon ng mga tinatawag nating typhoon, kaya po nagkaroon ng sa Yolanda, or yung Marawi siege na nagkaroon sa in Mindanao, and then of course yung Taal naman po. But again, it was in a board resolution, the IRM po was adopted already as a special privilege in times of fortuitous events and emergencies. So kaya po even po doon sa ating objectives po, nakalagay po na it is intended for healthcare institutions to provide substantial aid rebuilding their critically damaged healthcare system. So hindi lang po ito pertaining to the facilities or the structures, but really in the operation of the healthcare system. And because there was this proclamation of a national public health emergency and the proclamation of a national state of calamity. So in order to help po these facilities, especially for those affected, directly affected, or indirectly affected ng fortuitous events, so nagbigay po tayo ng IRM. Ito naman po is to make sure nga po that the facilities can actually respond and provide the continuous access to care and health provision to all our patients. Pero yun din nga po, hindi po siya limited only for COVID cases, but even the indirect effects na nadoon din po sa scope ng circular.
Sa akin lang po, Mr. Chair, ang sa tingin ko talaga nangyari po dito, tinamad na lang po ang EXECOM, tinamad na lang po ang head office na mag-isip po ng mekanismo na appropriate for purposes of expediting reimbursements para po sa ating COVID patients. Ganun lang po, tinamad po. Imbis na gumawa na lang po ng isang special lane or an expedited claims processing para sa COVID, in-apply na lang po itong IRM. At ang hirap po niyan, since wala silang tiwala sa regional offices, hindi ko alam kung bakit, ang gagaling ng mga empleyado ng PhilHealth, lalong-lalo na sa mga regional offices, pero wala silang tiwala dito, pinark na lang nila itong napakalaking pondo sa mga ospital. So yun po, wala po akong maisip na ibang dahilan kung bakit in-apply ang IRM sa ganitong situation, kahit klaro po dito sa document na to na hindi po siya appropriate dahil wala naman pong pagkasira sa facilities o sa mga ospital na nangyari. So ang akin po, simple lang po di ba? Kapag tinatamad ang isang security guard sa isang tindahan, ang mangyayari po, mananakawan po. Dito po, ganun din yun Tinamad ang EXECOM mag-isip ng paraan para ma-expedite ang claims. Ito po ang nangyari. So kung hindi po katamaran yan, baka po may masamang balak din dyan. Diba? So sana po, Mr. Chair, pag-isipan po natin na i-recommend sa PhilHealth na dapat po i-suspend na talaga ang liquidations kahit na po para sa non-COVID claims. Diba? Kasi meron naman pong regular window na kung saan pwedeng dyan po i-process ang mga non-COVID claims. Sa ngayon po, as a protection, dapat po i-suspend ang liquidation para sa non-COVID claims. And siguro idagdag ko na rin dyan, baka pwede na rin natin isuspend po, Mr. Chair, ang pag-apply ng COVID case rates para sa suspected or probable patients. Dahil sa aking pagkakaalam naman po, dahil wala na rin backlog sa testing ayon sa DOH, by the time ma-discharge ang isang patient, and upon discharge po, inaawas ang PhilHealth reimbursements. Dapat po wala na pong suspect or wala na pong probable kasi nakalabas na po ang test results by that time. So, hindi na dapat i-allow ng PhilHealth ang pag-reimburse ng case para sa suspected. Meron po akong isang report na natanggap na isang suspected COVID patient. Ang charge pa ng ospital is 100,000. Ang binayad ng PhilHealth, ang in-apply na case rate is the severe case rate na 333,000. So tumubo pa ang ospital ng more than 200. And not only that, Mr. Chair, this patient eventually tested negative. So isa pong malaking pagkakamali itong polisiya po na inaalaw ang pagbayad po for suspected or probable. So, yan lang po ang aking manifestation, Mr. Chair. Sana po mapag-isipan natin na i-recommend po yan sa PhilHealth.
Okay. Honorable Kimbo, before I make it into a formal motion, yung mga binanggit mo, I'd first recognize the Honorable Remulla.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, along the same line of questioning of the Honorable Kimbo, when the IRM was released, it was because of COVID, based on the resolution 0007. Am I correct, Dr. Pargas?
Based on the pandemic, sir, and it is
Based on the pandemic, and then no. So, ang kailangan talaga, it was really meant to be a COVID response fund. Am I correct? Yes or no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. But prior to the pandemic, PhilHealth was already in debt to the HCIs by more than 11 billion pesos. Am I correct, Dr. Pargas?
Mr. Chair, I am
Yes
not
or
sure
no?
of the,
Yes or no?
I am not sure of the amount, Mr.
Oh,
Chair.
yes, but you were in debt already by a substantial amount of money to several HCIs.
Honorable Remulla, Mr. Limsiaco, may utang daw kayo ng 11 billion at that time nung ginawa yung IRM.
Prior to the pandemic, may utang na ang PhilHealth sa mga ospital, HCIs, by around 11 billion pesos. Am I correct, Mr. Limsiaco?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, ang ating utang sa mga ospital before ng COVID, sabihin natin February, Mr. Chair, nasa 12.9 billion, Your Honor.
So 13 billion ang utang ng PhilHealth.
Yes po.
Hospital pa lang yan, kasama na yung mga HCI like dialysis centers.
Lahat na po to, Mr.
Lahat
Chair,
na.
Your Honor. Po.
Kasi Mr. Chairman, I was speaking to a hospital administrator of a hospital system covering Parañaque, Muntinlupa, and Cavite. Ang sabi niya sa akin, prior to the pandemic, ang utang sa kanila ng PhilHealth, 6 hospitals, was around 350 to 400 billion. Ngayon, nakatanggap sila ng IRM, kahit anuman ang utang ng mga utang na ito sa mga ospital, kinredit nila sa IRM. Kasi, para mabuhay sila. Kasi kung hindi, it was meant to save or prevent the collapse of the health system. Is that correct, Mr. Vargas?
Mr. Chair, that is the objective po.
That is the objective.
Honorable Remulla, Dr. Pargas, kanina sabi mo sa akin, it will only be applied to the current situation.
Mr. Chair.
Ngayon you're saying it's correct na pwedeng yung utang, they can charge
They can apply
against
the
IRM.
past debts. Pinapayagan nyo silang i-apply yung past debts kasi may utang na kayo sa kanila dati, tama?
Clarify ko lang, Mr. Chair. Yung pong yes ko is on the IRM was released to make the hospitals continuously operate.
Yeah,
Pero
and
again
then,
po, yes.
these hospitals are saying na pwede nilang i-credit yung past utang ng PhilHealth, i-debit na nila yon sa amount na binigay nyo, ganun nila i-liquidate. That's how they will liquidate it, is for all the debts due or all the amounts to be paid to them, i-liquidate nila.
Mr. Chair, again, the liquidation po is charged to the claims or valid claims that will be submitted to the corporation from the date po na na-file nila, from the date na declare yung calamity.
Oh, what
So,
if the
hindi po
hospital
siya
gives you a liquidation which includes past debts prior to the pandemic or debts due and owing since 2019 or even earlier?
Mr. Chair, the corporation is continuously processing the claims po and being paid to the hospital. Again, the IRM po
Dr.
is...
Pargas, ang tanong ni Honorable Rimulya, kung ang utang ay 2019, sinabit yung liquidation against IRM, utang ninyo ng 2019, pwede o hindi?
Utang pa rin po yung 2019 because yun pong claim...
Hindi nga eh, binayaran na nga, sabi nga nila, o ito, liliquidate namin. Yung utang nyo ng 2019, iaawas na namin sa IRM. Nasa amin na yung pera nyo eh. O di, gano'n na lang. Mag-ano na lang tayo, magsumahan na lang tayo.
Mr. Chair, hindi po yun ang intent, hindi po siya charge.
Hindi, it's not the
yung mga
intent
utang.
eh. Yung application na sinasabi ko. Kung ginawa ng ospital, sabi nyo, oh, liquidate nyo yung IRM. Pag liquidate ng ospital, pinakita nila yung mga utang nyo since 2018 or 2017. Chinarge nila sa IRM na binigay nyo.
Sir,
Anong gagawin ng PhilHealth?
Hindi po namin yun i-charge as liquidation. Because again, ang liquidation po will start yung pong mga claims na...
O sige,
kailan po.
Mr. Pargas, kung ganyan ang iyong sinasabi, pwede nyo bang bawiin ngayon lahat ng in-advance nyo sa mga ospital na hindi ginagamit sa COVID season, yung, na, basta COVID lang ang kanilang pinagamitan, bawiin nyo na yung perang inyong binigay. Pwede nyo
Para
bang
lang,
gawin yun?
Honorable Rimulya, para mas precise, yung lugar na walang COVID, i-withdraw yung mga pera. Kasi kung may mga COVID naman doon, kahit hindi pa gamit, okay lang. Would you be able to do that?
Mr. Chair, ito po yung nasusulat na current policy. If the board will approve for such or the management, maaari naman po natin gawin. Pero hindi po yun yung ginawa natin ngayon po. And yun
Hindi,
nga
pero
po,
ano
hindi siya chargeable to the
paikot-ikot
utang.
ka eh. Ang sinasabi natin, ito kasi yung senaryo. Bago dumating itong COVID, marami ng utang ang PhilHealth. Hirap na yung mga ospital maningil sa PhilHealth kasi meron nga mga utang, yung iba mga 3 years ago pa, utang na hindi binabayaran ng PhilHealth. Tama o mali?
Meron po.
Marami, di ba? Marami. So, nung dumating ang COVID, sabi ng mga ospital, teka, ang dami utang sa amin ng PhilHealth, hirap na kami. Wala nga kami pambili ng PPE eh. May sinabi sa akin na gano'n ng isang hospital owner sa Cavite. Hirap nga kami bumili ng kahit PPE kasi ang laki ng utang ng PhilHealth. Kaya nung dumating yung pera sa kanila, ang sabi nila, oy, IRM, advance, pwede na namin iawas. Ang utang ng PhilHealth sa amin, na lahat ng aming sinisingil, dito na namin iaawas. Ano ngayon ang gagawin nyo? Legal Department. Attorney Bukalan?
Attorney Bukalan, yes.
Bukalan. Ano ang gagawin mo ngayon? Ano ngayon ang aksyon ng PhilHealth? Pag inawas nila sa IRM, yung pagkakautang ng PhilHealth na hindi naman COVID, pero pagkakautang ng PhilHealth sa mga ospital prior to the pandemic. Attorney Bukalan. Bukalan.
Sorry sir, what's the question sir?
Ang haba nun, Attorney Bukalan. Pagka may nag-submit, Attorney Labe. Attorney Labe.
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
yes.
Honorable Rimulya. Sir, per our process po, hindi po namin i-liquidate yon kasi po hindi siya saklaw ng scope ng liquidation process. Yun lang po yung gagawin namin. Kundi i-charge po siya doon sa claims, regular claims po yun mapupunta, sir.
No, I will tell you what will happen. Pag sinabit nila yon, lahat ng yan, i-approve nyo na naman sa board. Mag-uumpisa sa IRM, hindi naman pwede. But later on, yung liquidation nila, charge against IRM, i-confirm na lang ng board nyo. That is what will happen.
Mr. Chairman, yung mekanismo kasi ng PhilHealth is for reimbursement. Wala silang mekanismo for cash advance. And even yung kanilang payment system, binuo yan sa mga software na i-reimburse. Hindi para i-cash advance. Kaya nga kung nag-advance sila ng halimbawa 100 million o 200 million, walang nakabatong ano yan, serbisyo under your payment system.
Hindi, kaya nga ang magiging sitwasyon dito, ang tanong kasi ni Honorable Remulla, pag kami nag-charge against IRM, sabi ni Dr. Pargas, hindi pwede. Sabi ni Atty. Labe, hindi pwede. Pero lahat ng ospital, alam namin, ganun na ginagawa. So ang gagawin na lang ng board, i-confirm nila, Honorable Remulla. I'm sure that will be the
meron bang board
direction.
member dito? Meron ba sa inyong board member?
Wala. Yung mga past hearings po natin, nandito sila, Brigadier
Mr.
General.
Labe, are you a board member?
I just have to clarify something, sir. Kasi
Yes,
po yung,
please.
yung Mr. Chairman po, yung mga utang po ng sinasabi po ng hospital, yun po ay kasama doon ay RTH, so return to hospital. Hindi pa po kasi good claims yun. Kaya po hindi po agad-agad dapat i-charge nila sa liquidation kasi the PhilHealth will still have to check whether wala pong inefficiency
Yes,
or
but
walang
Atty.
anything.
Labe, the reality is, lahat ng kausap naming ospital, nililiquidate na against IRM. So ang gagawin nyo lang naman, i-validate nyo kung tama yun, di ba? Ayusin nyo lang, and then it will be approved by the board.
Paparatify nyo lang sa board yun.
Once na klaro na lahat ng dokumento, talagang utang yun, talagang kailangan bayaran, i-ratify lang ng board. Ganun lang mangyari.
Siguro, Mr. Chair, if I may, maliwanag na maliwanag
the issue with
kasi po dun sa IRM.
Yes, Congresswoman Kimbo.
Mr.
Go ahead.
Chair, maliwanag kasi doon sa circular na yung IRM application, kailangan po directly related po sa isang fortuitous event. So siguro, linawin natin sa kanila, ano bang fortuitous event dito? Hindi ba COVID? Dr. Pargas, di ba? Pag sinabing fortuitous event, COVID lang yun, di ba?
It is the pandemic, ma'am, caused by the...
O, tama. Diba? So anything else ay hindi dapat magamit ang IRM. Ganun lang kasimple yun. So yung sinasabi ni kanina na yung previous utang bago nagkaroon ng pandemya ay sinasabi ninyo hindi dapat ma-apply ang IRM. Eh klaro naman yun base sa circular. In the same vein, dapat ang non-COVID claims during the pandemic ay hindi rin dapat ma-applyan ng IRM. Hindi ba ganun kasimple yun?
Mr. Chair, gaya
Go
po
ahead.
nung nabanggit kanina, kasama rin po yung claims for treatment done as an outpatient relative to the direct and indirect effects of the fortuitous event. Kaya po, the intent nga po nung IRM is really to respond to the pandemic. Kaya po, even the liquidation is magsa-start sa lahat ng claims na na-file nung na-declare yung pandemic or yung calamity. Yun pong mga claims na nasa PhilHealth prior to the calamity or yung sinasabing utang ng PhilHealth to the facilities, yun po ay continuously ipaprocess ng claims, ipaprocess ng corporation at ibabayad to the hospital. Dahil ang i-charge nga po to the liquidation ay yung from the start ng merong
Ang punto lang
calamity.
naman, Dr. Pargas, kasi naibigay nyo na yung pondo eh. Wala namang masama. May legal claims yung hospital eh. Pero yung sa campaign nyo sa COVID, na i-forward nyo na yung pondo, nililiquidate na nila, at ang punto ni Honorable Kimbo, COVID nga to eh. Bakit kahit naman yung fortuitous event, nagkaroon kayo ng advance payment dito sa mga wala namang sitwasyong ganon. It should have been normal liquidation and we will not prevent
Mr. Chairman,
that.
ito kasi opportunity. Ito yung pagkakataon sa PhilHealth na takpan yung kanilang inefficiency by giving advance payments or transferring funds to these hospitals. Meron silang utang eh.
Yes.
Even the HCIs, no? Kagaya niyan, Mr. Chairman, tinatanong natin kung bakit merong pondong dumating sa dialysis center. Ang sinasabi ni Mr. Pargas dito, Mr. Chairman, is that yung health system nga hindi pwede mag-collapse. Kasi nga malaki nga utang sa dialysis center. Pero ginamit nila yung IRM mechanism para i-prop up itong mga... Siyempre, kailangan naman talaga ng tao ng dialysis. Pero bakit kailangan yung i-mix, paghalu-haluin yung pondo ng gobyerno? Itong pondong to, dapat IRM pang COVID, itong pondong to dapat pambayad ng utang.
At bayaran yung utang.
Ihalo.
At bayaran yung utang na mabilis doon sa mga
Bayaran
dialysis.
yung utang na mabilis. Pero, di ba, nangyayari dito, hinahalo nyo. Yung isang utang sa isang kamay na para sa COVID, iba yung utang sa dati sa ospital, ibang kamay naman yon. Ngayon, hinahalo nyo na yung pondo. Technical malversation yun. Malinaw na malinaw. Attorney Bukalan, do you agree or not?
Attorney Pucalan, please do not let me repeat the question.
Sir, it depends on the SOP.
So you don't agree?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sige, you
First-
don't agree.
Okay.
Siyempre, kasama ka
At
sa
any rate,
technical malversation eh.
Honorable Kimbo, Honorable Rimulya, let me just follow up dun sa binanggit ni Honorable Kimbo into a formal motion to strongly urge the PhilHealth to withdraw the policy for suspected and probable COVID cases as part of their circular and resolution approved by the board. If there's no objection, motion is carried.
Mr.
Dr.
Chair,
Pargas, your reaction? Yung suspected and probable, please, tanggalin nyo na yan sa policy nyo. Yes. Ang motion namin as a committee is that yung suspected and probable tanggal na doon sa inyong policy. May we know your reaction, please?
Mr. Chair, actually the COVID packages are in review or under review. Simula pa po nung ating
The
ipinalabas
sense of
yung
the
una.
committee is only on the suspected and probable. Do you agree on that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, kung especially if it is so moved. And technically under review naman nga po siya para po ma-check yung yung kasama yung suspect and probable because nung una kasama nga po siya.
Salamat, Dr. Pargas. So with that, we will have a short break para kumakain lang yung mga guests natin kasi tayo naman po pwede magpalitan dito. But let's have a short break. We will resume in 30 minutes.
Mr. Chair, pwedeng 1 minute lang. Kasi,
I know
Chair.
you all have manifestations, but if I entertain all your manifestations, it will be 2 o'clock by that time. So session hearing suspended.